Well, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. If you would do me a favor and just put in the chat where you're coming live from. Great morning, Lisa. Hello. Welcome. Let's have a little fun, right? Saturday morning. Hard to believe already. Wow. Got some family coming over later, just working throughout the day, serving, and love this time of year. They call it Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving, right? So if you would just throw in the chat, Montana, what part of Montana are you at? Fort Lauderdale, what's up? How are you, young lady? Dude, I love Fort Lauderdale. Actually, I love, there's a restaurant down there called Bistros. I think Mastro's Bistro, right on the water. Oh, dude, it's so good. I don't know what they do to their butter cake, and they make like a lobster bisque, which always kind of seems the same to me, but it's freaking fabulous. So, D-May, what's up, beautiful? Welcome. Oregon, man, that's one state I've yet to get to. I've got to get out there and see that. So let's have some fun, right? So you know a little bit about me. I grew up in Charleston, well, Cross Lanes, West Virginia. It's a suburb of Charleston. Lived there for about 20 years of my life, 21 years actually. I was around 19 years of age, and I had a life-altering experience in chiropractic. Carolina in the house, what's up? And went on to become a chiropractor, went out to Davenport, Iowa, got my degree in chiropractic, studied nutrition, functional physiology. It was just awesome. I love the power of the body. It made sense to me. Love the people in Davenport, Iowa, in the Quad Cities. Left there, went open my practice in Michigan in 2003, little small town called Dundee, Michigan. Met my beautiful wife. She was from the Irish Hills area. I was just west of Detroit, Monroe, Michigan, south of Ann Arbor, north of Toledo, a little bit east of Jackson. Just fabulous. Now, 2020 hit, everything kind of a little crazy. We decided to move our family down to Florida. So we currently reside in St. John's, Florida. We absolutely love it. It's just around, well, St. Augustine is. So if you ever travel down Interstate 95, we are the exit right before the Buc-ee's in St. Augustine. So how many of you out there, I pray to God you can learn from me today, but how many of you out there have ever struggled with your weight like I used to? I used to be that pathological yo-yo dieter. If you've ever yo-yoed like I did, I think I invented it, right? I was a pro at it, but feel free to put yo-yo in the chat. Now, this was me, right? You had Buc-ee's. That's so funny, D-Bay. This was me, and I got to turn the mirroring off. Now, this is fascinating, but I look back at this photo, it was 2013. Now, I was 240 to 50 pounds. Are you serious, Shandy? Shandy, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so crazy. We're building a house in Landings. We live currently in Rivertown. I was in Nocatee. What a small world. So crazy. It's just my neighbor, right? But what happened was, I was doing all this stuff. I had done cold pressed juice I was making at home to preserve enzymes. I was doing ketogenic diets where I was measuring my blood sugar, my blood ketones. I have done meal prep and weighing my food by the gram. I've done all that stuff, right? And I knew I needed to lose when I looked like this, but I had gotten out of control. I felt terrible. I had no energy. I felt blah all the time. I was getting this constant mental clarity, brain fog thing. My right shoulder, I couldn't sleep on it. I pitched in high school and college. It was terrible. Sebring, yeah, absolutely. And I just had all these things. It was just crazy. And I was just constantly, I was getting blurred vision, higher blood pressure. My cholesterol was acting up. I was a mess. And I knew I needed to lose weight. And I'll show you, I had every sign of this right here. The Bible says no good tree may bear bad fruit. And this is the root, and this is the fruit. We're going to show you how to correct the root. And when you fix the root, you get rid of the fruit. Now, I call this the wheel of torture, right? And we're going to show you how to fix that right there, how to spin this thing. Now, I didn't know I had this. I'm going to go over what it is, how you get it, all those kind of things. This was me in February of 2024, almost March. A month and a half later, I was in the hospital. I had blown my appendix out. No clue. This was me 35 days apart, reversing insulin resistance with this all-natural protocol. Now, I lost 50 pounds. Probably 10 of that's in my hair. I've added muscle. My testosterone's back like I'm in high school. I mean, it's great. I feel fabulous. My fatty liver's gone. Sleep apnea is gone. My AFib is gone. Joanne she's in menopause. Dr. Joanne, she dropped 54 pounds. Her chronic inflammation is gone. Dr. Marla is 71. She used the same protocol. And this right here, my friend Ro's a nurse. And look at how much younger these people look. She went from diabetic to no longer. Now, we're going to talk about this. So how many of you, if you need to lose maybe some weight, I used to teach people this, so I'm not throwing shade on anyone. But if you've ever been told if you need to lose weight, you need to move more, eat less, do me a favor and just put a 1 in the chat for me, would you please? Now, they call this calories in and calories out. So if we just do a simple mathematical equation, I think you'll find this humorous. Let's say that we restrict our calories today by 500 calories. Thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen. And let's say we did that for a week. I mean, that would be equivalent to 3,500 calories. Pound of, we'd lose a pound on the scale, right? Okay. If I did that weighing 200 pounds, would I weigh 0 in 200 weeks? I've never had someone answer yes to that. See, it's not about calories. Now, I'm not saying calories don't matter, but ask a type 1 diabetic that doesn't inject insulin. They can eat all day long and they won't gain a pound because insulin opens up the cell. Insulin is your hormone that allows entrance into the cells so that you can get energy and nutrients in there. So now, let's go a little deeper, right? They've known for 106 years, just so we're all clear, at the Carnegie Institute of Washington, that if you restrict calories by, doesn't matter, they did a 20% deficit, 20 or 25% regardless, they found these symptoms, and if you've had any of them, I had them all. Feel free to just say me in the chat. They found these people were hungry. DMA, I might come over, let's say I'd go out to eat with my wife, and we didn't even get the menu yet. And I was already talking about the 2 snacks I would have after, lunch, dinner, the snack after dinner, and the next day. Anybody else ever find themselves like this? Then what else would happen? This is pretty fascinating. I would go to someone's home, let's say maybe for a barbecue, and I would think to myself, are they going to have food that I can eat? I mean, will there be enough? What time will they have the food available if I get there? Have you ever found yourself like this? This was me all the time, right? It was crazy. I could not stop thinking about this stuff. Now, they not only were these people hungry, they became hangry. So they would eat and then they would crash. And it was blood sugar. I see this now. I had this all the time. I was constantly going off on people that I loved, and I didn't even mean to. These people were cold. Anybody else having any of these, right? They also found not only were they cold, but these people also, they were losing muscle. When you lose muscle, this is called sarcopenia. And if you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down. It doesn't speed up. So now you can't even burn what you're taking in. See, if you're insulin resistant, you can't burn the fat you've stored, you burn muscle. They also found there was a reduction in the cardiac output by 20%. Now, this is a book I always recommend. I got to speak to Dr. Bickman again this past week. Guy is super genius. He's known as the world's leading insulin-resistant doctor. If you want to know about chronic disease, which is like almost every one of them, you want to read this book. It's pretty eye-opening. But he points out that when you restrict calories, the research medically shows that you become insulin resistant. You might be thinking, well, what is insulin resistant? Well, insulin resistance creates all of this. It's probably why you've never heard of it. See, when you fix that, you get rid of the fruit. Weird, right? So what is insulin resistance? I'm going to give you an example. A few months back, we were down in Volano Beach, my wife and I. It's just outside of St. Augustine. And there's a really wonderful restaurant known as Michael's. And we decided to not only have dinner, we had a drink. Now, my wife and I no longer drink. Thank you for the shares. I don't know why we did this, but we did. And we got our drink, I guess, of choice would be an old fashioned. Now, we had, I think, a quarter of that drink, and I felt a lot different, as you could obviously imagine. Now, if I drank that drink every single day, would it make sense that I would need more of the drink to get the same effect? Now, let me relate this to today's modern epidemic of food, right? How many of you on here have been asked to eat as soon as you wake up within 30 minutes, and then eat every let's just say 2 hours to keep your metabolism up. If you've been told to do this, do me a favor and put a 2 in the chat. Okay? Cannoli, I love your name, brother, by the way. I'm doing fabulous. Thank you. And I've designed this to answer questions as I go through it. If I miss any, guys, private message me. I promise I'll get back to you, okay? So we've all been told that, right? Here's what we need to understand, though. When we eat food, the food is broken down inside of our body into blood glucose. I'm going to represent that by this sugar cube, okay? Now, each macronutrient has a different elevation of blood sugar based upon what it is. So carbohydrates cause the highest blood sugar spike. The higher the spike, the faster the crash. Now, if you eat carbohydrates, those are things in boxes and bags, and that causes higher blood sugar spikes than table sugar, just so you know. Now, protein's middle of the road, fat barely spikes blood sugar at all, which they told my whole generation, don't consume, fat. Fat makes you fat. If you've been told fat makes you fat, put fat in the chat, right? That's not how it works. But I was taught that. I just turned 48 early, was it this week? No, last week. I can't even remember now. But when your body turns that food you're consuming into blood sugar, your pancreas makes a substance called insulin. Insulin, medical research knows, is your fat storing hormone. So remember this right now. When you eat, you spike blood sugar. Ask any diabetic, the higher your blood sugar, do you need more or less insulin? Feel free to say more or less in the chat. Insulin tells your body to store fat, but insulin also tells your body to grow tissue. When there's food in the system, the body is, we got energy available. Let's store it for when we don't have it, and let's grow new tissue. Now, it also suppresses your immune system function, which is why diabetics have poor wound healing. You may notice maybe you're not diagnosed with diabetes, but you've noticed that, your joints don't heal like they once did. Your skin doesn't heal. If you've noticed these things, just say healing in the chat, right? Now, you also may have noticed that fertility, yes, it suppresses fertility. See, this causes inflammation in your body. If I have any healthcare providers out there, put HCA in the chat with a thumbs up if this is the truth. If a diabetic, God bless them, is in a coma, they pass out, paramedics pick them up, they inject them with a sugar solution. And when they do this, if they blow up and implode the vessel, or if they miss the vessel, it necrotizes the tissue around, because this is that corrosive, which is why your body clears itself of blood sugar. Make sense? So here's what happens. Thank you, Ivory. So now, what are signs that you're insulin resistant? So if you're eating every 2 hours, you're keeping insulin high all day long. And when insulin's high, you tell the body to store fat. This is simply stored energy. This is 5 pounds of fat. Insulin, when it's high, tells you to keep storing. But when insulin is low, the fat's gotta go. Say it with me, put it in the chat. When insulin's low, the fat's gotta what? We're gonna show you how to burn fat for fuel. Think about it this way. Do these companies make money when you eat or when you don't? When you take or when you don't, right? So let's have some fun. What are warning signs your body's showing you that you have insulin resistance that maybe you don't know that you have? This was me. I had started to develop skin tags, belly fat, inflammation in my joints, my face was round. I was getting high blood pressure, high cholesterol. It put me in the hospital a month and a half later. I nearly died. And I started to get blurred vision. I was losing my hearing. Tinnitus started to happen. That's ringing in the ears. Anybody out there struggling with any type of itis diagnoses, like arthritis, bronchitis, colitis. Itis means inflammation. This was happening all through, and I had no clue. And your body, insulin stays elevated to keep the blood sugar down. And this can happen for 15 plus years. The Great Britain Journal out of Great Britain, the Lancet points out you can have hyperinsulin for 15 years. Your cells stop listening, like your kids putting on headsets, not listening to you, so you yell a lot louder. And the body makes it louder and louder, and it's shoving that sugar into your joints, known as osteoarthritis. It's shoving it in your brain. It's called migraines. In adult, if the longer it goes, dementia and Alzheimer's. It also shoves the sugar in your liver, your female parts, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Women, you're getting UTIs, you're getting yeast infections. Men, erectile dysfunction, you're losing muscle. You guys, I mean, it's all over the place. These are all warning. And if you've had any of those signs, feel free to put IR in the chat for insulin resistance. Now, this happens for a good 15 years. And eventually, I'm going to show you how it all works here in a little bit, but you get diagnosed when you've lost blood sugar control. You get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I find this very interesting. A type 1 diabetic, they don't make enough insulin, or they don't make it at all. A type 2 made way too much insulin for way too long, and yet the only thing that those two diseases have in common, they can't control blood sugar, but yet they have them both inject. Now, when you become a diabetic, type 2, your cardiovascular risk goes up, medical research shows 80%. Alzheimer's and dementia are now being called diabetes type 3, just so you know, because it goes up by 81%. There's a reason they keep building skilled facilities all over the place for people, so you guys know. Now, this keeps happening. And have you noticed that when any diabetics out there, when they started to inject insulin, did you notice how their waistline started to get bigger? If you've noticed this in yourself or someone else, put waistline in the chat. Now, you might not yet have the diagnosis of diabetes, but you've noticed your waistline started to creep up like mine did. That's what they would term pre-diabetes, but it's really just diabetes. But anyway, these are coming attractions to you. So now, here's what happens. How did we get here? Well, what is the most important meal of your day? I mean, would you guys put in the chat what the most important meal of the day is? I think you'll find this very fascinating. Now, in the 70s, it was actually earlier than that, but they really created this campaign in the 70s. And it was by the company Logs of Kell. And they told you that the most important meal of your day is what? It's actually the first meal that you eat. That's breaking your fast. That's breakfast. Thank you, Logs of Kell. And you definitely, there's an old jingle I love to sing. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. The best part of waking up is when those companies get you to put carbohydrates in your cup. And I'll show you why. But anyway, you know, you could actually break fast at noon or 7 p.m. I mean, you could break fast the next day. Anybody on here heard of stem cells? If you guys have heard of stem cells, do me a favor and just put stem cells in the chat, would you? And stem cells, by the way, if you go 24 hours without consuming food, medical research shows, you actually create new stem cells in the mucosal lining of your intestines. Did you happen to know that 80% of your immune system lives in your intestines? And when you do this, well, those stem cells, you make them yourself. There's zero side effects. Do they make money when you inject or don't? You've probably never been told this. If you go a whole, well, I won't even go there because, you know, but anyway, weird, right? And those stem cells, they bring down inflammation, they heal and repair tissue that wasn't healing. So interesting, isn't it? But anyway, now that we see that you don't have to eat first thing in the morning, and you absolutely don't want to eat carbohydrates, just so you know. How many of you, what's the largest fast food restaurant that you think might be on the planet? Throw that in the chat. I was wrong. Dr. Lustig he's a pediatric endocrinologist. He's a childhood diabetic doctor. Now, he went to undergrad at MIT. He also went later on to get his doctor of medicine at Cornell. No, I'm always live. And if I miss questions, feel free to private message me. I do it to stay on target and not to go too far off. Now, this dude points out, how many of you guys have heard of that company? You probably thought that, you know, it's healthy for you. You know, the Way of Sub company, the bread company. Little tidbit for you. Did you know that in Europe, their bread is taxed as sugar? There's an extra tax on it because there's so much sugar in it. How many of you remember Kraft? I used to think Kraft, it was cheese. What do they call those little things they put in the plastic? Put that in the chat. You know, it can't be called cheese because there's not 51% of the product is cheese. It won't even light with a match. Go pull one out if you got one in your fridge. Try to light it. It won't burn. I wonder what it's doing to our body. I wonder if I'm preserved, because I had plenty of that as a kid growing up. You know what I mean? Anyway, weirdly enough, right? So the number one fast food restaurant on the planet, it's not the Arches. It's actually our public schools. It's the food program, the national food. And Lustig points out 29% of our children are on this thing. It's 50-something% for lunch, but this gets really fascinating because they start these children off with a bowl of loops of fruit and a glass of OJ. How many of you were told that OJ is good for you? Put OJ in the chat, right? Now, when God makes a carbohydrate, he wraps the carbohydrate in fiber. Why would God do that? You know, if God wanted you to drink juice or make smoothies, and I've done them both at home, personally, it'd be hanging in the tree like that. Huh. Interesting. What do you give a diabetic to drink when their blood sugar's too low? You don't even have to be a diabetic. Put that in the chat. And that's because there's no fiber. You see, fiber fills you up. Fiber, the brand on the fiber, God wraps every carbohydrate in fiber except honey, but he wrapped a beehive around it. And I'm going to show you why he does this. The fiber fills you up, but more importantly than that, do they make money when you eat or don't? I wonder why they would remove it. But the polyphenols, the polysterols, the vitamins and minerals in the fiber feed your microbiota. And they create short-chain fatty acids that tell your liver to burn fat instead of storing it. Anybody out there suffering with fatty livers, autoimmune diseases? Wait till I show you this down the road. I go over cholesterol with you and blood pressure. You might find this a little fascinating. But anyway, what happens is they took that out and, well, we started to get really sick. And I'll show you when. How many of you out there have served in the military? And if you have, thank you so much. And if you've ever consumed or heard of an MRE, put MRE in the chat. Now, MREs, meals ready to eat, right? Those that Dr. Lustig does a really cool little history lesson. I love to teach. I feel like I've been blessed and born. God has blessed me with this to teach, and I really strive to make information understandable. People are really intelligent when you can give them the information in a way that they learn. But as Einstein said, if you gauge everybody's intelligence like a goldfish, if you gauge the intelligence of a goldfish of his ability to climb up a wall, he's ignorant, right? He's stupid. So people are smart and they want answers, right? I'm going to lead you to the answers. It's going to be so common sense that you can teach it to your 5-year-old, they'll teach it back to you. Now, he points out that in the early 1900s, there was a lot of food spoilage. That's not good for business or health or the soldiers that were in these wars. So they started to realize when they took the fiber out of the food that the shelf life of that food would go up. But when the shelf life goes up, I want you to remember this. Your life goes down. I have M. Groot, and guess who taught her what she knows? This guy right here. So, yeah, I'm very familiar with her. Now, here's what else happens. How many of you realize that in the 70s, 60s actually, they took the fiber out, but they realized there was a lot of waste in that food. I used to cold press juice at home. So if I did that, there was a lot of, pulp and fiber left over. I would go put it in my garden. Food companies realized that leaves a lot of open space in a box. Let's put it back in the box. Well, they created something called modified food starch. Kristen, what's up, beautiful? If you've ever heard of MFS, modified food starch, put MFS in the chat. Kristen, so proud of you and your husband. Her husband was able to reverse type 2. Kristen, I mean, you're dang close. I can't remember your story, but it's pretty crazy. And weirdly enough, I know probably many of you have never been told that that's a life sentence and you'll never be able to change that. Weird. Do you guys want to fix things or do you want to keep treating things? That's an important question you should ask yourself. But so when they took that fiber out, they cleaned it up. And well, did you know that modified food starch has no flavor or taste? The average American consumes 275 pounds of this a year, and it causes higher blood sugar spikes in your body than table sugar. Did you know that? How many of you diabetics out there have been told to consume toast for breakfast? You know, whole wheat toast. Put D for diabetic and WWT if you've been told that that's good for you to do. Did you happen to know that, well, those things are loaded in modified starch? You ever go to a local bakery, that bread goes bad in a day, you go to the store and it lasts for months? Weird. Well, when they did this by the 1970s, diabetes went up sevenfold. Obesity went up sevenfold. Now, if you're injecting insulin, you are tripling the risk, just so that you know, of cardiovascular disease. You're doubling the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia and weakening your immune system. Those are the facts. Now, if you're a type 1, God bless you. We want to teach you and help you learn on how to control blood sugar and keep it lower. And as you understand, if you keep blood sugar lower, you're going to need less insulin, aren't you? Okay? Is this making sense? If this is making sense, give me a thumbs up, right? Now, this went up sevenfold. What is our number one organ in our body that detoxes our body? Would you guys put that in the chat? Now, when the fiber's been stripped, the blood sugar goes out of control. That creates stress on the body. What is our hormone of stress? Like when you're stressed, there is a hormone that gets released. Our hormones are beautiful. They're wonderful. This ain't the problem. It's the environment we put them in, okay? So now your cortisol, yes, goes up. Now watch this. Because the fiber's been stripped, blood sugar, that's toxic. So the body shoves it into our liver. Liver disease went up 400 times. When this happens, if this bottle represents your liver, notice the water line. The liver can store around a half a pound to a pound of fat. Now, every time you eat, you're shoving sugar into the liver, okay? So every meal you eat, this is water, this is sugar. Every snack you take, every drink you make, sugar goes into the liver again. Well, until you fill it up. Now, when you fill it up, it overflows out of the liver. Your liver's now fatty. They call it non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. They're now changing that name to NASH and MASH. Well, that way you don't understand unless you understand Latin. And if you don't understand, you just, well, you know, you kind of just do what you're told to do, right? Okay. So, see, I never did my practice members like that. I wanted you to understand because you would make informed decisions and you would feel great about yourself and you would refer to me like crazy. Weird. I don't really prefer manipulation. I think it's wrong and we'll all be judged upon that. And God bless those that are. But anyway, when you fill this up, how do you know that you have a fatty liver? Well, your ALT goes up, your AST goes up, but you also notice differences in your cholesterol panel. This is what happened in the 70s. Triglycerides started to go up, LDL started to go up, VLDL went up, lipoprotein B went up, HDL went down, and LDL went up. Well, soon after that, there was something to treat the LDL. Wait till we go over that with you. I think you'll find it very fascinating. Now, what happens is all these things, right? Cholesterol became a thing. And then also, by the way, Alzheimer's dementia became a thing. Weird. So modern environment of, you guys guessed it, right? So let's take a deeper dive. How did this all happen? Who did it? I think you'll find this fascinating. How many of you have ever heard of the philosopher thousands of years before Jesus? His name was Plato. If you ever heard of Plato, feel free to put Plato in the chat, right? It's funny, man. My patients used to give me crap. I'm so goofy. And they're like, you probably ate too much Play-Doh, right? So weirdly enough, Plato said those that tell stories, they rule the world. Well, Solomon in the Bible said where there's no vision, the people will perish. What do they call the box that you hang up in your living room? It's black, it's rectangular, it's called a what? They tell you that it's paid programming. Who do you think's paying for that programming? Now, by the way, what I also find very fascinating, they tell you that there's a broadcast. Well, what is a cast? I mean, a cast is a form, and they tell you that they're forming your reality. Well, that's another form of television, right? Weird. Oh, I use the Bible in everything that I do. I'm only here because of his grace, to be honest with you. So if that offends anyone, I don't know what to tell you. But here's what happens. These companies, they sell to you subconsciously, subliminally. The Bible would tell you, know them by their heart of hearts. It's not talking about the physical heart. It's talking about, Jesus would say, know them by their fruits, their actions. Weird. And so, long story short, I find so fascinating is, well, let me give you some jingles. You guys feel free to chime in. Ba-da-ba-ba. I mean, Winston tastes good like a what? How do you spell relief? The best part of waking up. I mean, you guys get it, right? Where's the, right? Okay. See, everything you do, they've programmed in you. They've given you the blue. I'm going to give you the red today. Okay. I'm going to give you the blood, if that makes sense. And weird how that movie speaks so deeply if you get the reference. But long story short, they've known this. They've known this for thousands of years, how to do this stuff. And funny little tidbit for you. How many of you remember Camel cigarettes? If you do, put Camo in the chat. Camo in the chat. My father used to smoke them, and I think Jesus got him to stop. I shamed him out of it when I was around 4 years of age. And long story short, I remember, do you remember how they would have a man and a woman walking down the street, like in love with each other, holding hands? And they didn't show us what they did because it was G-rated, right? But the next scene, I mean, they would show them smoking. And your mind subliminally puts together emotionally, unconsciously, because you don't buy logically, you buy emotionally. I'll show you in a second. But your mind sees this and it goes, I got this. I mean, I got lucky. That is pretty cool. And I mean, if you're a real man, you do it without the filter. Why am I talking to you right now about this? Let me show you. He points out that, well, those companies, they used a lot of engineering bio. They took rats that were addicted to white powdery substances known as cane of co. It's a street, and well, they knew they were addicted to this. Now, rats do not live as long as you and I. So what they did is they realized, well, man, we can kind of study rats a few generations and know what's going to happen. They don't predict it, they create it. It's pretty genius. But here, let me show you. They then took something else. It's a white powdery substance. And they told you and I, well, they put it in the water. Now, when they did this, they knew the rats would eventually have to drink the water. And so, well, when they did, the rats never went back to the street drug. They actually just consumed more and more water. They even left their young. Well, they started to grow this stuff and aspirate it to the leaves, and consumption went up. I mean, we don't do this stuff logically. How many of you guys remember the warning label on the side of those smokes? Put warning in the chat. And that white powdery substance, ladies and gentlemen, that they put in the water of those rats was sugar. Those companies thought, wait a minute. I mean, people's consumption of the product went up, but why are we waiting till they're 18 to sell them something? We're missing 18 years of progress. They went and bought food and beverage. Interestingly enough, I mean, there's 262 different terms for sugar. I mean, who in the world needs 262 different names? Now, kids today, by the time they're 7 to 8 years of age, have consumed as much of sugar as people used to get their whole entire lifetime 100 years ago. Huh. By the way, how many of you have heard of high fructose corn syrup? If you have, put HFCS in the chat. This is fascinating. I actually I think I was watching Good Energy, right? She was talking about this a little bit. Brilliant lady. I love her. And she was talking about bears. I think this was her. I don't remember, but it makes total sense. Watch this. See, scientists are really, really intelligent people. I mean, we don't know. We don't doubt that. But you ever notice how a bear, before they go in hibernation, they would eat a lot of berries? Now, berries have fructose. Now, fructose and high fructose corn syrup are not necessary. Not one cell on the planet needs fructose. Now, glucose is a different story. Your body can manufacture and create glucose simply by eating fat and protein alone. You've probably never been told this, called gluconeogenesis, but watch this. So what they did is really fascinating. The bear, did you know that fructose and high fructose corn syrup, alcohol, all go directly to your liver? Huh. So the bear eats the berries. It actually made the bear more aggressive, medical research was showing, but they did this, and that sugar went directly to the liver, and it got stored as fat. When it gets stored as fat, this is just energy and storage. And the way that you tap into this fuel is when blood sugar levels drop and insulin levels drop. And when insulin's low, fat's got to what? So the bear goes in hibernation. Are they eating when they're sleeping? So their blood sugar and insulin levels drop. You know, every one of you do this every night you go to bed. How many of you, let me ask you a question. When does your body heal itself? Would you all put that in the chat? I think you'll find this pretty fascinating. So the food companies thought, wait a minute. I mean, we can liquefy this stuff and we can create high fructose. And well, it's 10 times more powerful and intoxicating than fructose. They now call it non-alcoholic fatty liver. They're finding this in our 3-year-olds. Now, your body, you've probably been told, many of you are saying sleeping. That's partial truth. The reason that it heals while you're sleeping is because you're not eating. You see, when you eat, your body has to shut down its immune system, and it shuts it down further, and your reproductive system to digest the food. So this is why every ancient textbook talks about fasting. Do those companies make money when you eat or when you don't? When you take or when you guys figuring it out? Okay. So let's do a little deeper dive. I remember they used to call diabetes late adult onset diabetes. Do you guys remember this? If you remember it called late adult onset diabetes, put late in the chat. Dr. Lustig points out that fructose and high fructose corn syrup are obviously, they're not necessary, but they cause the cells in our bodies to age 7 times faster. And in doing this, well, now when I opened my clinic back in 2003, they went from calling it late adult onset diabetes because it took decades to occur to just juvenile diabetes. And well, now it's childhood diabetes. It used to be called obesity, which took decades. Obesity used to be the plagues of prosperity. It was only kings and queens were obese. You guys get it? Because they were the ones that had the means to eat all day long. Sing it with me. And so what happened was, well, that now is called childhood obesity. Find it fascinating. I guess we don't count calories like we once did. What do you guys think? So now let's take a look. How many of you want to learn how to burn fat that you're storing for fuel? If you want to learn how to burn fat, just put fat burner in the chat, right? Now, this is a picture of the glycemic index created by the University of Sydney in Australia. Glucose and glycemia mean sugar. They know more about sugar than anyone. They created this. No, these are your 3 macronutrients. These right here and these are essential. These are not, just so that you know. But we'll talk about this. Now, let's say everyone on here, we ate our last meal last night at 6 p.m. You can be a type 1, a type 2 diabetic. You guys can be non-diabetic like myself. And if you ate your last meal at 6, after about 8 hours, you burned all the blood sugar out of your bloodstream. So where does your brain, that's 2% of your body weight, that uses 30% of the metabolic output, that means energy, where does it get its fuel? Why are you not dying? You're not eating. Well, blood sugar drops, insulin's low, fat's gotta. But do they make money when you eat or when you don't? How many of you have heard of ketones? If you've ever heard of ketones, put ketones in the chat. See, when your insulin's low, you burn fat, which is stored energy, as fuel. Ketones are produced. Medical research now shows that the brain actually prefers ketones over glucose, just so you know. Ketones are anti-inflammatory. It means it brings inflammation down. If you're following what I've been teaching, in this protocol that I share, you probably notice that your joint pain's gone, or it's much better. Your brain fog's gone. Your mental clarity's back. Your waistline's shrinking. You've probably noticed also that your testosterone's back, gentlemen. Your estrogen levels are rebalancing. Ladies, cortisol's rebound. Anybody out there notice any of these? Anybody getting any good blood work from their doctor visits? Feel free to put that in the chat, all by what we're sharing. And I have all the science to show you why this is. And it's all natural, by the way. Just so you know. But anyway, ketones also stimulate BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. They're neuroprotective and regenerative. Because it drops inflammation, your immune system resets. A lot of people notice that their allergies and autoimmune start to clear up or go away. I'll show you some videos of people with type 1, and also Lyme disease. It'll fascinate you. But anyway, what happens is this stuff takes place and inflammation goes down, and like your mental clarity's back, and like you feel like a different person. And the longer you go without eat, you feel better. It's crazy. And it's not starving because you have fat that your body taps into. This is how it works. And you have about an Olympic athlete, to give you an example, has 100,000 calories of stored energy as fat, even with like veins showing in their abdominal area. That's how lean they are. We have about 2,000 calories of stored glycogen, which is sugar. What would you rather do? Tap into fat, or would you guys rather just keep eating all day long, right? Just put it in the chat. Now, how many of you love Mexican chips and salsa, or you like bread at a steakhouse or anywhere, right? If you like chips or bread, throw that in the chat. Have you ever asked yourself why they always start your meal off with this? Let me show you. If you understand what I'm getting ready to show you right now, and you understand what I'm going to call food order, you're going to understand how to keep your blood sugar lower by 75%, okay? So when you eat a carbohydrate, a refined carbohydrate, you know, bread, pasta, chips, crackers, all low-calorie foods, all carbs. They don't necessarily taste sweet going in your mouth, you know, flakes of corn, O's of cheery, all this stuff, right? No added sugar, they tell you, but it completely converts into sugar. Now, let me ask you a question. What do we feed cows to fatten them up? Would you guys put that in the chat? What do you feed horses to fatten them up? Any diabetics out there told to start their day off with some oats? Put D-oats in the chat. So you guys eat this and it converts into sugar within an hour. Spikes your insulin because the body is, where did all the sugar come from? So it yanks it down with the insulin. Now you're got this massive crash. Anybody out there ever get hypoglycemia or know someone who does? Put hypo in the chat. And insulin's your fat storing hormone. So once you do this and you eat those chips, within an hour you crash. Well, you got to eat again. I mean, because once you pop, you can't, and you can't have just one. I guarantee they're always telling you what they're doing. So now you're more likely to eat dessert. And if we spell the word dessert backwards, that's spelled stressed. Welcome to cortisol land. So not only are you spiking your insulin, you're spiking cortisol. What could go wrong? Now look at protein. If you're over consuming protein and cutting the carbs out, you're going to convert that into sugar as well. Your sugar levels will stay high. Protein breaks down, look, in 4 to 5 hours into 40% glucose or sugar. Now, fat barely spikes your blood sugar at all in 8 to 9 hours. If you were told fat makes you fat, put fat in the chat, right? Thank you guys for the shares. So I was raised that way. How many of you remember that pyramid, the food thing? Put food in the chat. Do you remember how many servings of grain they told you to consume every single day on that thing? Put that in the chat if you remember. The fats that I consume, I stay away from fried foods. I do avocados, avocado oil, be mindful of the source. Is it cold pressed? Olive oil. I do a lot of grass-fed beef, and I'm going to explain that to you guys too, right? So Yeah, 6 to 11 servings. What do we feed cows to fatten them up? So if you're consuming corn, grain, alcohol, those things all convert into freaking blood sugar. So when I consume food, I use a fiber matrix. It keeps my blood sugar lower by nearly half. That's how I start all meals. Ask any diabetic, if you keep your blood sugar lower, do you need more or less insulin? Feel free to put that in the chat. Then I eat a green salad. I'll eat vegetables. I'll throw some extra virgin olive oil in there. Be careful with your salad dressings. They like to hide high fructose corn syrup in them to blow you up to make you eat more. Then what I do is I throw grass-fed butter on the veggies. And then when I do my protein, I love grass-fed, grass-finished beef. I try to buy local. How many of you have been told that, cholesterol issues arise with red meat or eating eggs? Feel free to put that in the chat. Eggs or red meat, if you've been told that, right? I eat red meat, free, grass-fed, grass-finished all day long. Those are ruminant animals. They have multiple stomachs. They get the toxins out of the food, and they extrapolate all the minerals, what are left in the soil from all the, the stuff that they put on stuff, that they put uniforms on with mats and to spray stuff. That should maybe alarm you to something. But anyway, I eat tons of that. Now, what do they feed cows to fatten them up? What did they tell us to eat in the 70s of that pyramid? That's right. And what happened to people? I guess we forgot how to count calories. That was it. Great grandma never counted calories. She cooked in lard and did all kinds of stuff. She was skinny as a rail, muscular too. Never stopped working. I'm just asking for a friend. What do you think? So I do wild caught fish. I do whole eggs. Yes, pasture raised eggs. The oranger the yolk, the better. I know they tell you to stay away from those, but just a little science knowledge for you. If you consume one whole egg a week, the choline in the egg is a precursor to acetylcholine. It actually, medical research shows, reduces, by the way, Alzheimer's by 47%. There's also tryptophan in the egg yolk, and that's a precursor to serotonin. That's your happy hormone. 95% of that's made in your gut. That's why they call them SSRI meds. You get selective serotonin. You guys, okay. So weird. And there's I forgot to mention the B vitamins that run your brain and nerve system, but you should only eat the whites. Obviously God doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I mean? Truthfully, right? We should follow that science. I think it's very plausible and sound. So now, once I get done with my protein, I go fiber, fats, then protein. And you won't overeat in any of those. You'll know when you're full. Think about it. If you ate one apple versus drinking the juice from the same apple, what are you going to eat more of, right? Okay, you need like 15 apples to make the juice, right? And what do you give a diabetic to drink when their blood sugar's too low? That's because there's no fiber. Start with fiber, then fats and proteins. Eat until your heart's content, till you're full. And then I have the carbs last. Now, I still do. I'm going to have some pizza later today because I enjoy pizza. But here's what I'm going to do to protect myself from blood sugar spikes and keeping them down. How do I know all this? I wear a CGM to see how my body responds. I'm not diabetic. I want to know what my body's doing, how it's responding, so I can study it, get better. So weirdly enough, I'm going to have myself a fiber matrix. I'm then going to have a salad with some great olive oil in it. I'm also going to have some wings that are baked. I'm going to have a couple of meatballs, meat, and then all protein. And then I'm going to have maybe 1 to 2 pieces of pizza. That's how I do it. This will keep blood sugar lower by 75%. Then I go for a walk, 10, 20 minutes, right? When you do this, it'll lower your blood sugar spike by 35 to 40%. Resistance train. Look, if you're trying to lose body fat and control blood sugar, stop running long distance. Do sprints. You want to build muscle, okay? Stop that stuff. If you want cardiovascular health, then yes, that you're going to run. If you're trying to do a totally different thing, guys. Muscle, when you build it, it's a trough. It soaks up the glucose, meaning you need less insulin. If you guys now understand this, if this makes better sense, put food order in the chat. And I'm going to need some help from some diabetics here in a second, okay? Now, Here's what you want to do, okay? I need some help from some diabetics, and I want to start with this simple question. Do they make money when you eat or when you don't? When you take or when you don't? When you inject, when you don't? Do you guys follow me? Watch this. Any diabetics out there that has been told in the healthcare field that you need to consume 3 meals per day, 2 to 3 snacks a day, put a D for diabetes so we know that you've been told this, and a 5 in the chat, would you please, right? Now understand that every time you eat food, your blood sugar goes up. And when blood sugar goes up, your insulin goes up to bring it back down. It opens up the cells to get the nutrients into the cells. It should put some of this in your liver, you'll burn some of it, and you'll actually store most of it if you're not moving your body and don't have adequate muscle, okay? Now, if you overconsume which macronutrient causes diabetes? Overconsumption of carbohydrates, fats, or proteins. If it's carbs, put carbs in the chat. If it's fat, put fat. If it's protein, you can just put C, F, and P to make it simple, right? Which one overconsumption-wise causes diabetes? Now, many of you have probably noticed the American Heart. You know that association. They tell us that we should consume 60% of the daily intake that we take in should be carbohydrates. The global consumption now is 70% of carbohydrates. And if you overconsume those over a longer period of time, your cells will stop listening to insulin. You'll become diabetic and lose blood sugar control. When you become diabetic, your cardiovascular disease risk goes up 80%. 80% it goes up. Alzheimer's, dementia goes up 81%. I want to put this into a little context for you. If that association, you should maybe look up who provides to them. It's pretty interesting. But if they ran a skydiving outfit, 1 out of 2 parachutes would not open. That's how well they're doing. Now, if you noticed that they've actually put a little stamp of approval on the O's of Cheery box. If you've ever noticed that, put just heart with a thumbs up in the chat. They tell us that it's heart healthy and cholesterol approved. Have you guys ever seen this? So this right here is going to represent a cup. 1 cup's this much of carbohydrates. Now, most people do not understand that carbohydrates, most of them taste salty going in your mouth. And because they don't taste sweet, you don't think they convert into sugar. Things like tortillas, chips, rice, bread, potatoes. You guys get it? Now watch, pizza, macaroni and cheese. So now, this is 40 grams, that's 1 serving size of carbohydrates, O's of Cheery, that they tell you is heart healthy. And you might find it interesting that I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that they fund the association. Weird. That turns into 10 cubes of sugar. No one on here would eat 10 cubes of this, but that's what that converts into. Guess what happens to your blood sugar? And then it crashes. How many of you diabetics were told not to fast? Put a D and fast in the chat. I'm going to show you right now something that's going to blow your mind. Now, you might not be diabetic, but if you're eating the way that these diabetics have been told to eat, you will become one. And I really don't care if you believe me. If someone jumps out of a building and, or off of a roof, gravity is there. You trip and fall, gravity hits you. It doesn't matter if you believe in it. And when you're told not to do that, insulin acts like this key right here that opens up your car, okay? If you're blessed enough to have a vehicle, you have a key fob probably these days, and there's a battery in here. Now, every time I push the button, I'm activating insulin, I'm opening up the car, and I'm going to be able to put nutrients and things in the car. Kristen, I love it. Thank you. Probably an improvement. But let me ask you a question. How many of you out there are taking really high-end supplements? Maybe you're eating really good food. Like, I'm going to get organic, free-range turkey for things. I mean, I'm spending the money on that stuff, but I'm still, you ever feel tired all the time? I used to all the time, right? Thank you, Karen. Some people hate it, but I laugh at myself. So I guess that's all that matters. But here's what happens. So if you're eating, every time you eat, like they've got you eating like all day long. One of your snacks might be some pretzels or something, but you don't eat the whole bowl because they've got you counting calories. So you grab 5 pretzels at a time. It's just 25 calories. Boom. Hour later, another 5. Boom. 3 M&Ms, not the bag. Boom. Another M&M. Boom. Agalaga. Boom. Boom. Well, the average American eats 11 times a day. Eventually, you'll blow this battery out pretty quick. When I blow the battery out, I can't open the car. I can't get the nutrients in the car. Now the car starts to sputter. This is why you guys are all tired all the time. You guys follow? The weekend happens. Now, we were told not to fast as diabetics. You guys already told me that. So now the weekend hits and you're tired, so you sleep in till, let's just say for simple mathematical purposes, usually get up during the week at 6 a.m. to go to the office work. And then, right. Very good point, Paul. I try to eat, I can't stop myself, right? Once you pop, right? But what happens is the weekend happens and maybe you sleep in until 10. Did anyone on here get up at 6 and eat, or did you guys just keep sleeping? If you kept sleeping, just say sleeping in the chat. Did I just show you how you fasted? Pretty crazy, isn't it? Watch. Did you guys find this interesting? Crazy, isn't it? Now, so diabetics out there, how many carbohydrates were you told to consume each time you ate throughout the day? Would you guys put that in the chat for everybody to see? This will fascinate you. Now, here's what happens. It's 2 a.m. We had our last meal last night, so we burned all the sugar off. So our blood sugar, known as blood glucose, is low. Our insulin levels are low. When insulin's low, the what? What's got to go? Can you guys put it in the chat? So now we tap into fat for fuel. It's called ketosis. This is when our body heals. Ketones help your body heal. They also provide you with fabulous energy. So if you're following the protocol that I teach, you notice your energy is way up, isn't it? This is why. Your joint pain's gone and down, your mental clarity's back, you feel fabulous, and you're aging backwards because insulin makes you age. Now remember, insulin is your fat storing hormone. Do the companies get paid when you eat or when you don't? Okay, so they've got you waking up and eating first thing in the morning. So they've got you eating. Diabetics, were you told to eat whole wheat toast or oats? If so, put D, oats, or WWT in the chat for whole wheat toast. So once you eat, you turn fat burning off. It's a switch. Brain now goes, oh, we've got fuel. Let's go into storage mode and let's go into growth mode. So it grows tissue. But it suppresses your immune system and it suppresses your reproductive system. Anyone having fertility issues out there? Funny, my parents never ate all day long. They didn't have any trouble making babies. Anyway, so you eat that whole wheat toast. Maybe you put cream in your coffee, some sugar. Maybe you go through the Bucks of Star window to get a Poopa Frupa latte or whatever. You blow up your blood sugar, low calorie, and it pulls it back down. Now, the company knows they just hijacked your hormones. You're going to eat again real quick because there's no energy. You turn the fuel source off that was constant to eat all day long. Sing it with me. So now they make you the Nature Death Valley bars. Have you ever noticed how they're so kind and it's skinny? There's no added sugar. There's just a couple of net carbs. You guys enjoy it? So if you notice that there's 2 bars in those packages, if you notice that, put a 2 in the chat. They do this to get you to focus on your calories that you can count. If we have 150 calories of soda and 150 calories of steak, you're telling me that that has the same effect on the body? Because it's all about calories, they tell you. So anyway, now you grab 1 bar, you eat it, you're up to 200 calories in the morning, insulin pulls it back down, and you can't even keep your eyeballs open. You're so tired. So now, an hour later, you eat the next one. You're up to 300 calories. You're on your way to the office. You drop the kids off. You're so tired. You get a Poopa Pumpkin Frappa Latte Minty Coop Pop Poop Latte, but you don't drink the whole thing. you just drink one big drink. I mean, that's 500 calories even in the small, and you've got to keep that calorie count down. So you do this, and well, insulin stays high, but blood sugar goes high and pulls it down. And 30 minutes later, it's still kind of semi-warm. It's not too cold. You don't want to get rid of the whole thing, but you don't want to drink 500 calories. By the way, the worst thing you could ever do is drink your calories, is sugar. Like juice, smoothies, just get rid of that stuff, okay? Soda, I'm just letting you know. But anyway, one soda a day, which is like drinking a juice a day, Lustig points out, increases your diabetic risk by 29%, just so you know. But you do this, and you don't realize it. So long story short, you take one more drink. Now, you go to lunch because you're dragging behind your bottom. And how many of you have been told that brown rice is good for you? Put a BR in the chat. I fell for that too. See, God even wraps sugar in fiber. Cane. Everything that he makes as a sugar form in nature is wrapped in fiber to protect us. Man takes it away so that you consume more. Brown rice has been colored. It's no different, just so you know. And so your blood sugar goes up like a rocket ship. And you've all been told to keep proper portion control on your plate. So this is what you're doing. Anyway, so you keep doing this. Your insulin levels are elevated all the time. Now, when you're still insulin sensitive and you haven't created insulin resistance yet in yourself, you can cut your calories back, because this will go down at night when you're not eating. And you'll start to notice that you can lose some weight, but you really can't measure what you're weighing. It's just showing up on the scale, and you don't realize that you're really burning your muscle up instead of that. But here's what happens. Cave people, if you think about it, they didn't eat all day long. They ate once, maybe a week. I mean, when they found food. And when they did this, they stayed extremely lean and extremely muscular. Weird. But anyway, so you keep eating, every hour to two to keep your metabolism up, because that's what you've been told to do. And you keep doing this. Now, what's very interesting is a few years go by, you went to your 5-year high school reunion, everybody's getting a little bit of more of a notch on the belt, right? And you come back and you talk to your doctor and you're like, I got to lose some weight. Your doctor's like, you do. Well, doc, what do? I need to move more and I need to eat less. That's what they tell you to do. Doc, I'm already doing that. I mean, like, I'm going to Orange Theory 14 times a day. I'm eating all day long. I'm eating cleaner and all this stuff. I'm doing listing Craig Jenny watching. And I mean, it's crazy. Now you can't stop thinking about food, but you look at food and you feel guilty, because if you eat, you're not even eating it and you're gaining weight. It's insane. And now you start taking it out on people that you love. And well, now your estrogen's off. You can't have a baby. Estrogen's so out of whack. Guys, your testosterone is so low. And so what happens, you go into the doctor and they give you some HRT 5739. They give your husband a shot of Tess and his, you guys remember, right? And so you go into the bathroom, and well, in the bathroom, there's a sink. What is the cabinet above your sink called in the bathroom? Would you guys all put that in the chat? And I mean, we have more things in that cabinet today than we've ever had. We've got more diseases chronically everywhere on the planet. It's so interesting. Now, this keeps happening, and every year you go in to see your medical doctor to get your physicals once to twice a year, and they're always measuring your fasting glucose, your fasting blood sugar, which is always normal. But they never measure your fasting insulin. So you're more tired, more exhausted. They give you a shot for this, for that, and all these things, right? And this happens for 15 years. Now, warning signs are showing up all over your body. You're starting to get aging spots. You're getting belly fat. It just won't go away. Maybe you think you're told it's menopausal and you got to live with it, ladies. You don't. You're noticing that you don't sleep as well. You're going to bed earlier, but you're just exhausted all the time because you're insulin resistant. You can't open the car up. But to get this, and anyway, your blood pressure is going up, your cholesterol is going up, your triglycerides are up, LDL, HDL is down. Your joints hurt all the time. You're peeing all the time. I mean, you're getting neuropathy, neuralgia, blurred vision, hearing loss. I mean, everything literally is tied to this thing, but you've never been told it. It's like the mall directory dot. If you knew where you were at in the mall, could you get where you wanted to go? But if you don't know where you're starting and it's a new mall and it's a massive mall, how would you get there? So this happens for 15 years, these warning signs. And they take your money while you're in need. It's trifling. I mean, it's pretty interesting indeed, but don't you worry about a thing till you lose control of your blood sugar and they call you with diabetes. You guys, that's a little Nanye for you. I'm sorry. But let me show you what you got. This is another little song you might like. Insulin resistance. Let me show you. This is what you got. Don't forget it. That right there. That's what you got. And that creates the wheel of torture. Now, let me show you what they've done to your children. This is what's going on in your kids. So you wake up and you're trying to be good like any parent, right? We love those kids. We pour into those kids. And man, we're always pouring into them, right? And so we give them some oats without the added sugar, maybe some cakes, a pan or whatever. I do eggs, and I make my daughter eat an egg every morning because it's a perfect fat protein ratio, the whole egg, by the way. And I'll give her a piece of bacon and I'll give her the pancake. She'll eat in that order, right? And we do all the things that we can locally, butcher raised, things like that. But if you don't, your blood sugar goes up. The kids eat these things like flakes of corn, no added sugar. You guys get it, blows up the blood sugar. Insulin pulls it down and they crash. Well, when they crash, that's called attention deficit. Now you guys can figure it out. They go to school, they have more carbohydrates, not, suckers and candy necessarily, but we give them fish of gold, not understanding that that is a carbohydrate. And they go to lunch, and then in lunch, it's pretty fascinating because in lunch, what the kids do is they have a hamburger wrapped in a bun, sugar. They maybe have some macaroni and cheese. That's a carbohydrate. That's sugar. They have, pasta, sugar. They have rice, sugar. Fries, sugar. Chips, sugar. Well, candy, obviously, sugar. Insulin spike, all day long. And this just keeps happening. They come home, they have snacks, sugar. It's just finished Halloween, then it's pie season, then cake season, cookie season. Then it goes cookie in January for the Scouts of Girl, and then chocolate. And it's just, we wonder why our kids, I have no idea, are so sick, like we've never seen before. And they've consumed as much sugar in the first 7 to 8 years of their life, Dr. Lustig, a pediatric endocrinologist, points out, than people did 100 years ago in their entire life. So now I'm going to go into your blood pressure and then cholesterol, and I'll show you how to fix all this stuff if you're interested, and how to do that by fixing insulin resistance, a lifestyle modification. But if you've been told salt's causing high blood pressure, do me a big favor and just put salt in the chat. I think you'll find this very fascinating. Now, just to show you some proof as we're going through this was me 35 days apart with insulin resistance. That's 35. Down 50 pounds, AFib's gone, fatty liver's gone, sleep apnea's gone. It doesn't just work for guys. My friend Dr. Joanne's in menopause. Look at this. It's 54 pounds, chronic inflammation gone. Dr. Marla, she's 71. It doesn't matter if you're white or black or purple. You could be polka dot, and insulin affects you the same way. My friend Rose, a nurse, look at it. Look at how beautiful this woman is. And this just happens all the time. Now, salt, let's get into that. Baby, let's talk about salt. So how do you understand that if someone's house caught on fire, their blood pressure would go up, that their heart rate would go up? If that makes sense to you, do me a favor and just put in the chat F and F. F and F stands for fight or flight. This is a physiological, that means a functioning response of our body. Now, when you get stressed, the cortisol goes up to make you alert. Okay, and it makes your blood vessels go into constriction. They get smaller so that you can get nutrition as quickly as possible to your arms and legs so you can run or fight. Now, when the body pays Peter, when you stress cortisol, it suppresses immune system, suppresses reproductive system. This is how God designed us. When one hormone goes up, another one should go down. Now, cortisol and insulin shouldn't stay high all day. They should come back down. When the house fire is put out, well, your immune system and reproductive hormones should go back up. Now, many of you are told to eat every hour or two, to keep your metabolism up. And when you do this and you restrict calories, you actually reduce cardiac output by up to 20%. They've done this for over 100 years. And you become insulin resistant, Dr. Bickman points out. And well, when this happens, those blood vessels stay into vasoconstriction under pressure. How many of you have heard of atherosclerosis? Put ATH in the chat. Now, they're finding atherosclerosis in our 10-year-olds, and what that looks like is like a dry, rotten garden hose. Your cardiovascular system, they start to rust out like rusty pipes. Now, if you start your morning off under stress, what are the stresses? It doesn't matter what causes the stress. It could be eating some flakes of corn, one cup, this much, turns into 10 cubes of sugar. Your insulin, blood sugar goes up like a rocket ship. Insulin goes up, yanks it back down. Blood vessels go into vasoconstriction, cortisol stays high, but now you got to eat every 2 hours because you turn fat burning off. But they told you it was the salt causing it. Wait till I show you this. And so now your vessels are under constant pressure. What could go wrong? How many of you have noticed that dogs and cats are a lot fatter today than, you know, what they were 20, 30, 40 years? If you've seen or observed this, put a cat or a dog in the chat for me, would you? Scott, what's up, brother? Keep crushing it, man. I'm so proud of you, brother. Yes, these cats and dogs now, well, I mean, they're obese and diabetic and cardiovascular episodes and cataracts and retinal detachments and blindness and all kinds of wonderful stuff. And they're also forgetting things, walking in the corners, like dementia, Alzheimer's, can't remember. Weird. And yet they eat what? Grain-based food. What do we feed cows to fatten them up? What did the pyramid tell you to eat every day? 6 to 11 servings of. No science, all marketing. But anyway, they tell you it's science because they control. Because when you trust the television, what you get is what you got. Because when they own the information, oh, I'm sure they don't twist it. You guys got the rest. But anyway, so now when you bake a cake, I mean, what's sticky when you mix the ingredients up? Is it the fat and the protein in the bowl? Or is it the flour that you add the water to that forms the cake? That's the sugar. And the sugar forms in your body, and it forms this substance in your body on your proteins and your fats. And it's called, you know, every cell membrane in your body is made of fat, cholesterol. This stuff forms glue. Glycation means glue. It builds up into your arteries. It weakens the arteries. And it does this in your eyes. It leads to retinal detachment. Dr. Lustig points this out, that it fills them up and you can't get nutrients to the eye, so it starts to fray and fall. And they're finding this in our children. Cataracts, glaucoma, you name it. People are getting cataracts. If you've noticed people getting cataracts younger, put cataracts in the chat. This happens over and over. But anyway, they tell you also it starts to damage your kidneys and the blood vessels in the kidneys, but they tell you that it's not, they tell you it's too much protein. Is that why all the bodybuilders are on dialysis? Or is it diabetics? And so you eventually, you implode the artery. I mean, you blow it up and there's an event. The paramedics show up. Thank God for those people. They saved my life last year. I'm very grateful. And they put you on an IV drip. Anybody on here know what's in an IV drip? I mean, feel free to put that in the chat if you know what's in an IV drip. And if I miss any questions, I promise you I will. Private message me, guys, and I'll be sure to get back to you, I promise, okay? What's in there? Yeah, it's Jesus Christ is Lord. Amen, brother, love you. Or sister. And yes, it's salt. I mean, I love the movie back in the day, Gump. I might not be a smart man, but if somebody has a cardiovascular episode and we inject them with salt to bring down the blood pressure, it's probably not salt causing the high blood pressure. What you think? Now, if you have really astronomically high blood pressure, they'll give you 2 bags of salt. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm not even done. Wait till I'm going to expose a couple more things I think you find it enlightening. But I had cardiac AFib. Now, anyone out there getting leg cramps or eye twitches? If so, do me a favor and just put leg cramps or twitch in the chat, right? I was getting those too. Now, my cardiologist, I love her to death, beautiful lady, super smart. And she goes, you need to be taking magnesium glycinate. I was doing that already. But just like insulin, I explained earlier, if you weren't on here, is like a key to your car, there's a battery. And if I kill the battery from overusage, I can't open the car. The car is your cells. So now you can't get the magnesium, you can't get the really good food and supplements you're taking into the cells. This is why the car's locked. This is why you're tired all the time. That's insulin resistance when you blow out the battery, which 93% of Americans have, and 8 out of 10 don't know they have it. I had it, and it nearly killed me. I didn't even know it. He gave me this puzzle piece to share with you right now. And what happened was, I was taking it. It was terrible. I figured out if I stopped eating all day long and I ate once to twice a day, your insulin will reset. It's like putting a new battery in. And my AFib went away. if you've had AFib go away by this protocol that you've been using, feel free to put that in the chat. See, I've been doing reverse osmotic water for a long time, years, and to get the garbage out of the water, but they tell you not to consume salt. Now, I'm not talking about table salt. That is actual garbage. But I travel with Baja Gold. I now use something called Signal that has beetroot and all these minerals in it. You see, the Bible represents and says in the Bible around 70 times, it talks about the power of salt. The word salary, if you're being paid by a large company or just a small company, if you're on salary, the word salary comes from salt. A man is not worth his... Salt was so valuable, that was the currency in which they paid you. Currency means movement. Now, your brain, by the way, is 80% white matter. It's made of fat and cholesterol. How many of you were told not to eat fat and cholesterol? Put that in the chat. Yeah, Celtic salt's great. Himalayan, Baja Gold. Those are things that I use. I use this other thing now. I love it. I still travel with that too, just in case. And I put that on my food when I eat. I wake up first thing in the morning and I drink one of these and I use salt. And then before I go to bed, do the same thing. Because salt, when you think you're hungry, you're really craving minerals. Okay? Now, here's what happens. Your heart needs sodium and potassium. Your kidneys need sodium and potassium. Your brain needs minerals. Magnesium has over 600 enzymatic reactions in the body they've been able to figure out. This wire right here that is charging my phone as I speak to you is going to represent a nerve in your body. Man bastardizes everything they've seen our Creator make. The nerves in your body were turned into electrical wires. And there's myelin around your nerves, this coating. If I didn't have the coating, it'd burn my house down. Myelin is around your nerves, and myelin's made of fat and cholesterol. And when you have low amounts of those things, you start getting neuropathy and neuralgia. Anybody out there getting that? Feel free to put that in the chat. Maybe you've got an ALS diagnosis or an MS diagnosis. Well, inside of here in your nerves, you've got sodium and potassium so that your brain can talk to your parts can talk back to your brain. How many of you are maybe using a water pill, or one of your loved ones is? Put WP in the chat if you are. Do you, ladies and gentlemen, know what's in a water pill? Feel free to put that in the chat. I think you'll find this pretty interesting. You probably already figured it out. We're gonna have some fun with it. It is patented salt. So let me get this straight. They tell us salt causes the high blood pressure, when we just showed you it was the sugar that's in everything. I mean, pour some, right? Fire on me. That's what they ought to call it. Because if you're dealing with a medical condition that ends in itis, you know, bronchitis, arthritis, itis means fire. It means inflammation, which is caused by yours truly, sugar. But so you have the episode, the event, they call the paramedics, they inject you with the stuff to bring you back to life, to build the stuff that you're on, that they call healthcare, but it's really, oh, what was that? That was weird. Sorry, guys. I had to prove that I was a real person, so it has me like do this thing or something. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So then they inject you with salt to bring you back, to get you back on, they call it sick healthcare, but you can't use it till you're sick. They call it life insurance, but you don't use it until you're dead. Anyway, so now they've got you using water pills that are patented salt. I mean, because if there was a problem, they'll solve it. Check out the hook while they keep you. You guys figured out. Just keep eat, baby. Like, stop. They'll keep you sick and laughing. Oh, man. So let me show you the real science, not the bro science, not the stuff that you might see on TV science. This you can look it all up. I'm not making it up. It's in here. He's got hundreds of articles. It's pretty fascinating. I mean, if you read this book, it'll probably open your eyes slightly, just a little bit. You'll see that maybe there's been wool, kind of, yeah. But he points out that if you restrict salt in people for just 1 week, it doesn't reduce your blood pressure, but it does cause, let me show you, insulin resistance. which puts you on the wheel of the $9 trillion wheel. If you now know that you kind of need salt, it's kind of important, put salt in the chat. Now we're going to talk about your cholesterol. No, I come on here every day, raw spirit, but I have some over on the tube I can show you. I need to update. I might download this one and put it over there. But, thank you guys. So, guys, this is 25 years of doing everything wrong and searching. I found a growth in my buddy's son's brain at 9 years old. And they told us he had 6 months and we got 5 years. My father-in-law died right before that of very similar things. And God has put this weight upon me to study and learn. And I got it all wrong until about a year ago. And I am just on this mission to change as many lives as I can. And I'm just sick of watching people being taken advantage of. So how many of you on here have been told that you want to keep your cholesterol low to live a long life? If you've been told that, put LC in the chat, would you please? I'm a retired chiropractor. I always say at the beginning, I apologize. I do this full time now globally. I speak all over the world. I'm going to be in Dallas next month. I'm going to be in, 3 places in Texas the month after that. I'm all over the place. But I do this, I'm so fortunate, from my home. And I just never want someone to go through what we went through last year. So I get emotional talking about it, sorry. So anyway, cholesterol is so important that your body, your liver, makes 85% of the cholesterol in your body. Your brain makes its own, and the brain houses 25% of the cholesterol in your body. And when those levels get low, you start to forget things. Does that sound like dementia and Alzheimer's? Now, how many of you have heard of the PDR? Put that in the chat, pdr.net. You should write this down, okay? That stands for Prescriber's Digital Reference. It used to be known as the Physician's Desk Reference. This is where doctors prescribe drugs from. Doctors are so overworked, guys. They can't keep track. Do your homework, okay? So there's no cross-pollination of things, right? Now, with that, people are asking, what are you drinking, right? Cholesterol is so important. And I'm going to explain how this is. This is going to represent a cell membrane. This drink is chlorogenic acid. It is the highest chlorogenic acid content on the planet. Chlorogenic acid acts like a novel insulin sensitizer. So it keeps your blood sugar and insulin levels low. So I am able to tap into fat burning while I'm not eating. And it also stimulates my own natural GLP-1 by up to 70%. So I don't crave food. I made my daughter pancakes earlier. In the past, I'd have to have a bite or two. Or like somebody said earlier, you don't just eat 3 M&Ms, you eat, right? Like I couldn't stop. This stuff, I just sip on this. Now, what it does, it also protects my liver. It helps me make ketones. So my brain is functional. If I've got to speak, I don't eat. I like to be mentally clear. Now, this right here makes fasting super simple. If you're on this, using this, know what I'm talking about, and fasting's been simple, put fasting simple in the chat. This is a membrane, a cell membrane in your body. And this is made of cholesterol. Every cell membrane in our bodies are made of cholesterol. So this right here, this is going to represent a blood vessel, this glass. The water is going to represent blood. It's mostly water. If I poured olive oil, which is going to represent cholesterol, a fat, on this water, it would just sit there, right? Thank you for the love. It needs a way to be carried. How many of you have been told LDL is bad cholesterol? If you've been told it's bad, right, put LDL bad in the chat, okay? LDL stands for low density lipoprotein. I'll show you in a minute what it is, okay, guys? So this is a carrier molecule. Now, there's 2 patterns of LDL. Medical research shows, they've known this for decades. There's pattern A, which makes up 80% of the LDL total, and it's cardiovascular neutral. It means that it doesn't cause any issues. It's the carrier molecule. Cholesterol is the construction material. So if you're building a city, you need a lot of tractor trailers to carry construction material, right? Okay. Now, when there's injuries in the body, those things can go up. This is why a lot of people that do carnivore and keto, they'll get really high LDL. That's not the problem. I'm going to show you here in a minute. But what happens is this. So now there's pattern B LDL. That's the one we don't want high ratios. Now, every one of these like LDL markers, they're good for you. Those aren't the problem. There's ratios for sure. It's the inflammation and damage and oxidation to them that creates the problems. Now, that pattern B is shaped like a golf ball. Would you want to have a big, fluffy, blown up balloon, pattern A, that's pattern A, carrying the cholesterol to your cells, or would you want a golf ball bouncing around in here and damaged vessels? The one that makes the golf ball, that one increases cardiovascular episodes. Now, if you combine pattern A and pattern B, pattern A is totally neutral, okay? When you combine them, that increases your hazard risk ratio by 1.3. That 0.3 means 30%. It means if your LDL markers are off, you have a 30% chance of a cardiovascular episode. Look, that's big. I'm not negating that. How many of you have heard of triglycerides? If you've heard of triglycerides, put tri in the chat. Triglycerides have a 1.8 hazard risk ratio. That means you're 80% more likely to have a cardiovascular episode, okay? We don't focus on that one. Now, here's the thing. Remember I was saying to you earlier that they started taking not only the fiber out of your food in the 1960s, but they put the modified starch back in. And modified starch causes higher blood sugar spikes in your body than table sugar. Why is this important? Let me show you. Every time that you eat, your body converts what you eat into sugar. So this is your liver, and this right here, right? The water, that is storage. There's about a half a pound to a pound of fat storage in your liver. Now, every time you eat, the body takes that sugar and it pours it in here. So every meal you eat, every snack you take, you eventually are going to fill this up. Now, when you fill this up, you'll be diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, right? You'll start to get high AST, ALT, you'll start to get high triglycerides, high VLDL, high lipoprotein B, high LDL, and low HDL. You guys follow me? Now, here's some warning signs you can look up in the pdr.net that your LDL is too low. Now, if you're on something, because when that liver fills up, that all started in the 70s. When they put the modified starch in your food, diabetes went up 7-fold, obesity went up 7-fold, liver disease went up 400 times. When your liver's fatty, can't detox the body, your triglycerides, all your cholesterol panel goes up and your HDL goes down. Alzheimer's and dementia all became things. Iron is all related also to insulin resistance. Don't trust me, go look it up in ChatGPT or Grok. Is your medical condition influenced or affected by insulin resistance, guys? Okay? Now, go to the PDR and here's some warning signs your body's telling you your LDL is too low. By the way, listen to this one. If you're a female in menopause and you're put on one of those things to bring down your LDL, thank you for the love, you increase diabetes 50%. Why? Because LDL carries cholesterol to the pancreas to make insulin. Anyone out there using something called metformin? I know what it's really called. If you or a loved one you know is on metformin, put metformin in the chat. You may not know this, but metformin has a box warning. It used to be called black box, but they got rid of the black Black means death. That's actually what it can cause, just so you know. This chlorogenic acid, actually, it acts like a natural metformin. I'll show you the proof in a moment. But what else happens? What are some other warning signs? Did you know that your LDL carries your fat-soluble vitamins? Like vitamin A, D, which is a hormone that runs your immune system, controls 10% of your genetic code. It also carries vitamin E and K and coenzyme Q10. Anybody out there using CoQ10? You need LDL to carry it. So, LDL. Other warning signs that your body's deficit in this, listen to this. If you've had any of these things or seen these in family or friends, feel free to put in the chat what you've noticed. Other warning signs that your family and friends or you're getting from this: coronary artery calcification, blindness, loss of vision, tinnitus, vertigo, kidney disease, liver cirrhosis, neuropathy, neuralgia, gut issues, inflammatory issues, low libido, low estrogen, low testosterone, low progesterone. I can't remember them all, but there's a few. Those are just some of the side effects. Now, as I was explaining earlier, this is what happens. So if you're interested, I'm going to show you some proof in what we do. So here's how this protocol works. But before I do that, I'm going to show you, this is my friend Blenda. Blenda's a truck driver. She was getting ready to fail her CDL because she had insulin resistance so bad that she had developed diabetes, which increases your risk of cardiovascular disease by 80%. Alzheimer's dementia goes up 81%. She had PCOS. She had fatty liver, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and she was on anxiety meds. That was 6 months apart on this all-natural protocol that reverses insulin resistance. That's where I had my monitor in for my AFib, which is now gone. That was 35 days apart. This is my brother. His fasting blood sugar on insulin was 275. Now, he had been on insulin for 20 years. You guys have all seen this. You take it, and it's designed to manage, not fix. So you take it for a while. You're not taught lifestyle modification or what to do, and so you just continue to take more, and then it stops working, so you add another. My brother in one day was down to 109 fasting blood sugar. That was day one. He's not used insulin again. JoJo went from here to here by reversing insulin resistance. Maybe you don't need to lose weight. This isn't weight loss. It's insulin control. Dr. Nanye he's a pharmacist. He makes drugs. Look at this man adding muscle. If you're on this protocol and you've added muscle, put muscle in the chat. If you want to learn how to burn your love handles, put love handles. That was me 11 weeks apart. When you're not consuming food, you're burning fat for fuel. When you actually eat, you build muscle. It's called mTOR. This lady right here was thanking me. She had been on metformin for years with a black box warning, and her blood glucose was 160. And in 1 week, it was 95. This beautiful lady was 60 years young, 25 pounds down in 2 months, all through her medical doctor checking this through the protocol. And a year later, she's down 80 pounds off 6 of 8 medications and no longer has diabetes. She had all done every listing, Greg, Jenny, watching, all that stuff, plus a gastric sleeve. Gained it all back. This is Mary on this all-natural protocol. Nurse Patty dropped her triglycerides from 249 to 77, and her waistline went down 12 inches. This right here is my buddy, Jimmy. I'm going to let you guys listen to Jimmy, and then I'm going to show you how to fix this. But Jimmy had hyperthyroidism, and, well, they removed his thyroid. He then developed type 2 diabetes, erectile dysfunction, all kinds of stuff. And, well, I'll let Jimmy tell you.
And life just really sucked.
Since you've done this, how's your life changed?
Since I started the protocol, I actually found it on TikTok, believe it or not, and decided to give it a shot because there's a 90-day money-back guarantee. I was all in because I had literally given up on life, and I didn't know what to do, where to turn, what direction to go in. Life just really sucked for me to be the heaviest that I ever was. All in, consistency. In 90 days, I was able to reverse my type 2 diabetes, reverse my fatty liver disease. The sleep apnea started going away. The blood pressure was normalizing. Depression was gone. ED, erectile dysfunction, gone. I was able to lose 46 pounds in that first 90 days, But I've been doing it for 19 months now, and I'm down 88 pounds and off of 8 medications.
My friend Keith, I don't know if Keith's on here today, but Keith was a type 2 diabetic for 25 years. He was on 15 of those things a day. In 2 days, Keith got off 108 units of insulin. His foot ulcer has healed that nearly killed him. And he's dropped that weight, but he's down 11 inches on his waistline and on no more meds. His podiatrist actually shares this protocol with others. John, my friend John, uses FSA to pay for this protocol. And John was a 25-year diabetic as well. Saw me doing the same talk in January. And John, thank God, but he was able to reverse his type 2 in 1 month and his foot ulcer is gone. This is one of my biggest whys, my beautiful wife. She had polycystic ovarian syndrome for over 20 years. She had insulin resistance, which causes PCOS. We had no clue. I'm going to show you the protocol right now, guys. I apologize. But my wife, she literally had to eat first thing in the morning. She didn't. She'd get blurred vision, headaches, the whole shebang. Menstrual cycle was all over the place. We had 2 miscarriages, 7 years for us to have a baby. And when I got sick in the hospital last year, from what I'm teaching you guys, she obviously cortisol went up, and my wife is my glue. I love this woman. And the Bible says when you find the right woman, they're more valuable than rubies and gold. And that is the truth. This was my wife in less than 2 months. Now, my wife's like, I can't fast. That's part of the protocol. Now, you don't have to do that, but I want to show you why. And if you've been doing this protocol and fasting is now simple for you, just put fasting simple in the chat. Now, when you wake up in the morning, do these companies make money when you eat or when you don't, right? Now, these are not peptides, but they help your body make GLP-1 peptide naturally. So you're nothing like that. Your body will make its own. So when you wake up in the morning, you're going to make this chlorogenic acid tea. It comes in these little packets. Every one of them are third-party tested for herbicides, pesticides, mold, mildew, bacteria, carcinogens. This acts like a natural metformin, but with 0 side effects. This is the brand new one. It's so good. This is pomegranate. It's my favorite. It's so good. My daughter loves it. She's a teen, 13. These are safe for kids. There's 0 side effects. I'm going to show you that before I show you my wholesale price if you want it. But when you do this, you put it in the bottle, the company provides you, and you shake it up. It's super simple. No, great question. Does not break your fast. The second component of this system doesn't break your fast either. So where you do is you sip it like every 5 to 10 minutes. That's what you've been seeing me doing. This is what I'm drinking, okay? And you just sip it. You can make it hot. You can make it cold. It replaced my coffee. I don't buy coffee anymore. It's really rare. I like coffee, but I don't drink anymore. Now, when you sip on this, it keeps your blood sugar and insulin levels low instead of you eating all day long. My wife goes, I can't fast. I said, can you just sip the tea? She goes, I can do that. The very first day, my wife went till 1 p.m. I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Now, and she was eating body fat. That's what you're living off of. Now, when you finally do break fast and eat, your blood sugar will go up. Insulin will naturally bring it back down. But if you're anything like me, I used to struggle with food noise. I always wanted to eat. If I saw food, I had to eat it. So you're going to make your second tea of the day. You're going to drink that and sip that between lunch and dinner. It's going to keep the food noise. So when you're not eating, you're sipping the tea. Then you're going to get to your largest meal, usually it was what I do. It's usually midday anymore. I eat a big dinner at 3, 4 p.m. That's when I use the fiber matrix. Now, every time I eat, I use fiber, but the protocol comes with 2 teas and a fiber. This has been studied at the Cleveland Clinic. If you're familiar with the Cleveland Clinic, do me a favor and put CC in the chat, okay? This right here is the reason the Cleveland Clinic did a study. They are the #1 heart institution on the planet. They found in their study that this right here reduces your LDL, reduces triglycerides, brings down your A1C blood sugar. If you've all noticed these kind of findings in your blood work, if you're using this protocol, feel free to put that in the chat. It increases your good HDL, and it suppresses your blood sugar spikes when you use it with food by almost half. These have been studied at the Cleveland Clinic, University of Sydney, BYU, UCLA, UNLV, just to name a couple, and they come with a 90-day money-back guarantee and a free fasting app. You have to document. It's simple. You push a couple buttons. It's really simple every day. 50% of the use. If you use this properly and consistently, it will not let you down. These are as effective as diabetic meds, blood pressure, cholesterol, weight loss meds, and they're all zero side effects. Except you'll probably need to get a new wardrobe, and I'll show you the proof. This is the PDR where they're located, physician's desk reference. You're going to go here. This is where it shows you a reduction of triglycerides by 11%. 3% reduction in your A1C blood sugar. Metformin does about 1% to 1.5. It doubles to triples that with zero side effects. That's in 30 days. It decreases pre and post granular glucose levels. It reduces lipoprotein B levels, the one you want. It increases your satiety. It means it makes you full. That's why food companies take it out. Facilitates weight loss, and it curbs your appetite. Now, when they added this, using a continuous glucose monitor, they fed these people 2 waffles, 2 tablespoons of syrup, 10 ounces of OJ. That's 51 grams of sugar. That's a 43% blood sugar reduction. That's almost half. The National Institute of Health shows that metformin reduces your blood sugar 25 to 30%. Now, I'm going to show you guys now where you can get my wholesale price if you want it. It comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee through my link. And what it also does is I send you information how to use it. It's super simple. You can actually use an FSA or an HSA to purchase this. Has to be a one-time purchase. Most people, because there's a 90-day money-back guarantee, they'll buy 3 months. They don't have to order it every month. I'll show you how to get the best price as well. If you want it, you're going to push the picture of my face. It acts like a button during the live. It'll be in the top left corner of the live. You push that, it brings you right here to my profile where it says, I build leaders. If what I'm doing and talking about is something that you have on your heart and wanting to look at, get a hold of me, private message me. I will teach you everything I know. This right here, this is the button right below that. So if you push on this one, it goes to the wrong spot, right? You push this one, this is where you choose your flavors. These are the flavors. Up here is the chlorogenic tea. I love the lemon and I love the pomegranate. You can even do a mixture if you'd like. Once you choose that, you've got to choose your fiber. I recommend the mixed berry. Love the mixed berry, okay? Now, if you want to save the most money like I do, here's what I recommend. You want to subscribe. The company gives you $10 off every month. You can cancel at any time. And French private message, there's a way you can private message me just like on other platforms. And then also, too, you get free delivery when you subscribe. So you're going to save $25 a month just by subscribing. You can cancel at any time. If you're consistent, use it properly, it won't let you down. The cost of the protocol is $159 per month. It's $5 and some change a day. It's about equal to a cup of coffee. Now, if you've been saving money on the protocol, feel free to put a $ in the chat. Now, we are in 63 countries around the world. We're in Canada, United States. We're in Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Colombia, and Mexico. We're in Saudi Arabia. We're also in Oman, Kuwait, South Africa. I just got restricted. Why would I get restricted? So interesting how I get restricted. So how many of you have been told that diabetes is genetic? What restriction means is they won't push the content out anymore. Wonder why. But you can invite others in if you find this valuable. So with that, we're also all over Europe. We're in the United Kingdom. We're in Germany. We're in Austria, Romania, Hungary, Turkey. We're all over the country. We're also in Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore. I'm trying to think where else we are. India, the UAE. We are everywhere, guys. So we are in South Africa, yes. And I'm looking for people to partner with down there. So it's not for everybody, but let me know. It's made in the United States. We are in the Philippines, Nick, yes. Now, how many of you have been told that diabetes is genetic? If you've been told it's genetic, put a G in the chat. I'm now going to go into that, and then I'm going to show you guys. I've got about 20 minutes, and I got to run, okay? So I'm going to show you some more proof. I'm going to show you about 100 pictures before and afters of people, okay? So you remember the company called 23andMe? If you remember 23andMe, just put 23 in the chat, would you? And they call it that because you get 23 chromosomes from your mom and 23 from your dad. Now, this little guy right here is a PCOS baby. He was not supposed to be around. Mom had PCOS for 10 years. 3 months on the protocol, reversing insulin resistance, and the little man was born. These are kids just using the protocol. They're not fasting. They're just taking the fiber and the tea. Yeah, if you need it, all you do is, if you want my link, what you do is you may have to go out and come back in. And you can always private message me. I can get it to you. Just push the picture of my face in the top left corner of the live. It acts like a button. Once you get here, it says I build leaders. Right there is that link right there. You just push it and it walks you through how to do it. You get on, you choose your flavors, and you're good to go. You'll get it in about 3 to 5 business days. Now, look at this here. That's 11 weeks. And then look at this. Isn't that crazy? This is my buddy Jim. Now, weird. I want Andrea. What's up, beautiful? I'm getting ready to show Andrea, Coach Andrea's. You should follow this lady. She's fabulous. But Coach Andrea, I mean, you've lost what, 34 pounds, I think you said, in menopause. Husband reversed his triglycerides are down, what, 49 points in like 2.5 weeks. Your dad's foot ulcer. I mean, just crazy the things that are happening in her life. Her vision's improved. And how is that? It's because everything you're dealing with is related to one thing, which is, well, why people that teach us tend to get restricted a little bit. But anyway, 23 chromosomes come from your dad, 23 from your mama. That's all you'll ever get. Why would it take 2 years, 5 years, 18 years for you to develop type 1 diabetes, or 40 years for type 2 if it's genetic? Are there genetic conditions? Yeah, I don't debate that. Absolutely. Down syndrome, sickle cell, they're born like that. Guys, don't believe all the garbage that you're being told. See, if it's genetic, you can't change it. You got to stay on the wheel of torture. You guys get it. Now, my buddy Jim, by the way, I mean, in 6 weeks, Jim was able to reverse his type 2 diabetes. He's down 3 shirt sizes, 4 pant sizes. Keith, what's up, stud? So proud of you. And by the way, this man reversed his IBS. Anybody familiar with IBS and autoimmune diseases? Go ahead and put auto in the chat. Auto in Latin means self. Brandon dropped 115 pounds. His depression's gone. How? Well, the protocol not only does it like reverse your insulin resistance, which takes stress off everything, but it also, it detoxes your liver and it feeds the gut. And when you feed the gut, your serotonin's made in your gut and, well, your mood. Anybody's mood on here better on this protocol? If you notice this difference in you and maybe your children, put increased mood in you or your children if that's for you, right? Now, Brandon is no longer depressed. Gavin had a stroke. He said the right side of his face was numb. They put him on blood pressure meds. He was 21 when this happened. He's now down 85 pounds off all meds, no injections. Dr. Jim is a 78-year man. He's adding muscle. That's 6 weeks, no dieting, no exercising. He's practiced 54 years. He's kind of been around the block, seen a lot of stuff. Drugs, no shots. This is Dr. Jim. This right here, John went from this to this. John had sleep apnea so bad he was waking up his neighbors. John also noticed this. His blood pressure was triple digit, both systolic, diastolic. On top of that, this man also had fatty liver and he'd never drank alcohol. Remember how they call it non-alcohol? That's because kids are being diagnosed with it. But this is John. John drove, I think, nearly an hour to meet me. Why in the world would someone drive like that to meet somebody to thank them?
60 pounds in 4 months. I am 67. I feel better than I felt in my entire life. I had unmeasurable triglycerides, fatty liver, a gut I couldn't even stand myself. I snored my wife. I wake up her every night. I would wake up the neighbors. I would wake up myself. I basically have gotten my life back through this protocol. Lots of energy, great mood, hope. I love it. Blood pressure, I used to be the 3 digits, the bottom number. I am like within range now. I went to see the doctor.
This is Dr. Dieter, an internal medicine doctor. And this guy, Keith, I am so proud of you, brother. Man, I'm so proud of you, man. And that man, Keith, drove hour and a half, 2 different times, 2 different ways, one way to share his story with others because of what it done for him. Keith, you were pronounced dead, I believe, weren't you? Because of a foot ulcer? Please correct me if I'm wrong. And Keith no longer has the foot ulcer. Guys, do you know what your chances of reversing type 2 diabetes are under standard care? Feel free to put that in the chat. Dr. Dieter left the regime. He's an internal medicine doctor. That was him, 220 pounds, eating the standard American way. This guy, right, that was him 6 years later, fasting every day and running 3 times a week long distance. This was him 2 months on the tea and the fiber with the protocol. Look at the difference. People ask all the time, why? This is why. Look at this. That's his twin sister. I asked Dr. Dieter, I said, Dr. Dieter, this man provides science seminars. You should all attend. You should all follow him. He does these every Friday night, Sunday, and Monday. Who the world does that? And he does this every freaking 3 days a week. And if you want that information, just comment science privately to me and I'll get it to you. And I said, why do you share this with people? He said, Doc, I have never seen something fix the root problem like this. He said, this is effective as diabetic meds, blood pressure, cholesterol, and weight loss meds with 0 side effects and 90-day money-back guarantee. He's like, I don't have anything medically that can even touch that. Nope, there's not a drug without a side effect. He goes, by the way, nothing has a 90-day money-back guarantee. And yet, think about that. Isn't that crazy? And we have physicians all day long joining us because of this. Now, my buddy Jimmy, 20-something months in now, this is old, but reversing insulin resistance, he got rid of his type 2, his fatty liver's gone, blood pressure's back to normal, sleep apnea is gone, depression gone, erectile dysfunction. Can you imagine? I praise this man. You know how humbling that is to tell people that? Down 88 pounds off 8 medications without a thyroid. You can follow us here and learn Peak Performance Protocol. This is over on Book of Face, okay? This is me over on the tube. I'm going to download probably this thing today, and I'll put it over there so people can watch it, take it, share it if you weren't able to make it. And then this right here is me over on the G, right? Oh, I can't wait. Donna, are you on the protocol? If so, I can't wait to watch, right? Yes, I'm going to show you, God bless you, a type 1 testimonial, and I'll explain that here in a minute. I'm going to go into autoimmune, and I'll go over that with you. So great question. I apologize. This is me over on the book, if you want to follow me there, Book of Face. And if you want to, like, maybe you just came on now, right? Somebody referred you in. If you want to see the protocol, this video explains it. This is how you can partner with me. That is where you find me, okay? This is my buddy Troy. I'm going to show you his. Now, my mom is the first person I put on this. My mom got diagnosed last summer with renal cell carcinoma. It's kidney cancer. And all disease, guys, including that one, needs glucose. You've got to control glucose and insulin. This tea, when you're sipping it, if you're a type 1, as you were asking, keeps your blood sugar low. If you keep your blood sugar low, do you need to inject more or less insulin, guys? And what happened was, my mom in 2 months, she had a complete hysterectomy in her early 40s. She's 77 now. My mom's kidney function went from 23% to 56% in 2 months. Dropped 2 pant sizes. My mom plays pickleball 3 to 5 times a week and runs circles around me. What greater gift can you give your mom than health? Guys, this is my buddy Troy that donated a kidney 10 years ago. Developed stage 4 chronic kidney disease. This is Troy's story. I'll let Troy tell you. This is Troy right here.
32 pounds lost, migraines that I had for 23 years, from a bike accident gone, acid reflux gone, brain fog gone, sleep apnea gone, anxiety, depression gone. And then when I went back, I think 3 or 4 months later, to have a follow-up from my previous appointment with my nephrologist, my creatinine level is normal, GFR's number were normal. And it's just amazing because I didn't change anything but this protocol. This protocol works.
And so you went from stage 4 kidney disease.
Stage 4 kidney disease to nothing. My kidney function is normal, and it has been. And, you know, every about a year that I go in, have a follow-up. And that's
This is my friend Deb. How many of you have heard of autoimmune? This goes right along with type 1. If you've heard of autoimmune, just put auto in the chat. Auto in Latin means self, means your body's attacking itself. And I'm going to show you why. My friend Deb had insulin resistance so bad, she had gut issues, allergies, headaches, low testosterone, and IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. In 7 months on this all-natural protocol, she went from a size 12 to 4. She also, her allergies are gone. Her headaches are gone. Testosterone's back to normal. IBS is gone. This lady's lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, both autoimmune diseases are gone. Diabetes gone, down 40 pounds. IBS, look how much younger they look, gone. This lady had Hashimoto's. In 90 days, she had been dealing with that for 20 years. That's her. Her TSH went from 39.15 to 4.33. Her endocrinologist couldn't believe it. How? Why? How many of you are familiar with the movie Gremlins? If so, put Gremlins in the chat, right? You have diabetes because of insulin resistance. Here's what happens. This is going to represent your intestines. Inside of the intestines, you've got 80% of your immune system. Why would your body place that there? Because you're taking foreign substance outside the body and putting it in. And your immune system acts like a military border patrol. It's keeping all foreign invaders out, just like it should. Now, inside of here, you got poop and feces and enterotoxins, endotoxins, and nutrients and bacteria. I just did a video about this. Warning signs, your skin is showing you that your gut's damaged and you're insulin resistant. You should all watch it. You should all change this, right? Oh, Don, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. And this is why I do what I do, guys, because you're good luck with your answers outside. When you eat food and it comes into here, you've got your enteric nerve system around your immune system has more nerve endings than your spinal cord. And your brain, you ever notice how your thoughts, mood affect your gut? You'll feel it down here, or your gut affects, that's because they're connected. So when you're eating the standard American garbage diet, diabetic diet, like people do around the globe now, I don't know why they follow this, but they do. What happens is this. Underneath your intestines, the mucin layer, my hand represents the tight junction cells. Pay attention right here. And when you do this, it helps with both your Disney. And so when this is tight, none of the bad bacteria come down. This is where the term leaky gut comes from. Pay attention. Underneath here is your immune system cells, the border patrol. And when you're eating the standard American diet, you know, like high hydrogenated seed oils, vegetable oils, they call vegetable, but they're grain. They're industrials made to clean engines. They have high flash points. That's what they were created for, just so you know. Modified food starch, all these things that are somehow generally regarded as safe. Go look up GRAS from your FD administration. It's pretty fascinating. They knew for almost 50, 60 years that, well, trans fats were bad for you. They knew back in the 50s, but they didn't remove them until I think it was 2013. They always get the benefit of the doubt. You're guilty, proven innocent. But anyway, weird, isn't it? I know. So you eat this way and, well, you know, modified starch and all the garbage and the high fructose corn syrup and blah, blah. And, well, you grow the wrong bacteria. You grow the gremlins. What could go wrong? Well, your body starts warning you, your skin starts getting acne and you start getting rosacea and skin tags and belly fat and your joints start hurting. You start forgetting things. Estrogen's all over the place. Almost every C disease is estrogen dominant. And when you increase body fat by seed oils and all these other, and insulin and all, well, now you create more estrogen. All your hormone diseases are they're all weird. But anyway, this keeps happening. And well, that stuff spreads. See, those bad bacteria, there's 100 trillion of them. There's Gizmo in there too, but you're not feeding him. They've stripped the fiber that feeds Gizmo, and bran and all that, and the polyphenols and sterols that keep him healthy and your immune system balanced and healthy. But they feed the wrong guys. That is great for the food and drug. Well, how do those have anything to do with each other? So now you get all this stuff. Your body's warning you. Your joints hurt. You're getting fatter, blah, blah. And the junction gets wider because of LPS that's bound in the cell walls of these cells. And by the way, Dr. Perlmutter, a famous neurologist, has been talking about this for decades. Ali Nadir, another famous cardiologist, talks about this and how severe it is on your cardiovascular system, your nerve system. What are the top killers? Anyway, so now, well, in the movie, when the junction got wider, the gremlins came crashing down. They overwhelmed the police, your immune system. They get in the water supply, the streets, the cardiovascular system, and you. It goes to the next building. That's your organ. If it's your thyroid, well, you've got Hashimoto's or Graves'. If it's your pancreas, you've got type 1 diabetes. It doesn't matter because every autoimmune disease does the same thing, but it's named after the tissue that it attacks. I'm going to show you here in a second why it fixes it, Obax. I hope I said your name right. But now if it goes into your joints, you've got rheumatism or juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. Now kids are getting this stuff. Lupus, Lyme's, MS, ulcerative colitis, IBS. I mean, you take your pick. Women, by the way, have an 80% higher risk rate of that because Dr. Lustig points out that they put you on the menstrual thing to regulate your hormones, which destroys your gut, which leads to all kinds of other good stuff. What could go wrong? That was actually the first medication they realized people would take for long term. Meds used to be miracles, like antibiotics, and then they realized people would take them forever. Now they just stick to managing it instead of fix. If you fix it, do you guys come back for more? I'm asking. Weird, right? So let's take a little look-see. How does it work? Well, how many of you have noticed when you get sick, you don't want to eat food? Put sick in the chat. Let me show you why. Do those companies make money when you eat or when you don't? See, if you wake up in the morning and you eat some carbohydrates, they got you eating all day long. You're on the roller coaster and, well, you're burning sugar. You're a sugar burner and you stop fat burning and you create an inflammation all day long in your system. And your body, when does it heal? Put that in the chat. Now, what happens is this, when you're sick, you don't want to eat. And when you don't eat, your blood sugar's lower, right? And insulin's lower. And when insulin's low, the fat's would you guys put that in the chat for me? So you make ketones. And the only cells in your body that can eat ketones are your cells. The foreign cells, the ones you don't want to grow, like the C disease and parasite, they all need glucose. And don't believe me, somebody gets that C disease, they go do a PET scan, they give you a radioactive isotope connected to sugar. So that when they inject you with it, well, wherever the isotope is, the sugar's attached, the disease needs the sugar. So it takes this in with it, and well, now you can see where it's at. Weird, I know. So anyway, ketones fix your body. They stimulate your brain and nerve system. They protect your brain and nerve system. They also enhance your immune system and reproductive system, all the things that you want and need for you and your family. But do they make money when you eat or not? So they took the fiber out of your food. You lost blood sugar control, feed the wrong bacteria. They go up, junction goes wide, they come down, boom, bada bing, you got allergies, asthmas, everything imaginable, ITS diagnoses and autoimmune diseases. Joy to the world, these people are corrupt. Do you guys see what I'm trying to show you? So here's what happens. How do we fix it? Well, when you're not eating, the junction gets tighter. And when you use this tea, the tea has saponins in it that suppresses the effects of LPS, so that gets tighter. Now, this right here is the fiber matrix. This is one of the biggest keys that people don't understand. Fiber is not for you and I, it's for your microbiome. When they're not happy, they eat the mucin layer out and they start this whole process. But this is equivalent to eating 6 cups of broccoli, 5 apples with the pills, 2 cups of black beans. How many of you are using probiotics? Put pro in the chat. Pro means for, bios means life. These are prebiotics. Gizmo's in there. He's just been deferred, but we're going to restore Gizmo and bring hope back. Weird how it talks about the heart, because when you bring this in, it brings back hope. It actually heals the heart and cardiovascular system. So weird. This is soluble and insoluble fiber. Insoluble fiber cannot be broken down, but it acts like a broom for your colon. Kind of important these days with colorectal cancer on the rise like crazy because people don't eat fiber. Dr. Lustig points this out that 150 years ago, people's body temperatures were 1.5 degrees hotter because we consume so much more fiber. When you don't consume fiber, your metabolism slows down. Now watch, this right here, the soluble fiber forms a gel, like pectin, like Jell-O, and it coats, it feeds the microbiota. When you feed them Gizmo restored Tree of Life, and he starts fixing stuff, he starts whooping the other guys' butts. But this stuff, look how it's just like water right now. Wait till you see, it's really fascinating. So what it does is this starts to form short chain fatty acids. And the short chain fatty acids tell the liver to burn the fat in the liver for fuel instead of storing it. Your triglycerides go down, your HDL goes up, your LDL goes down. It's really fascinating. You guys have seen this in your blood work, haven't you? And then what happens is, watch how it starts to keep getting thicker. See how it's starting to get thicker? And this also forms butyric acid, known as butter, but they get you to eat margarine. I can't believe it's not. As he chokes on his hairball. But what happens is margarine was made for turkeys to fatten them up, which actually killed them. They painted it yellow to give you the blue instead of giving you the red to keep you in the paradigm that they've created the box to make you keep living that way. And they lie to you continuously all the time. But I think we should keep following their lead. It's fabulous. Look at how this keeps getting thicker. I wonder why they would take that out of your food. I mean, if you have, now you're not going to let this get into your stomach thick like this. You're going to put it in the bottle the company gives you, halfway fill it up. It tells you where to. Shake it up 3 hard times in cold water and drink it. And then it does this in your stomach. Now it'll coat the food that you put in the food. So if you put a chip in there, like a potato chip, it coats it, and that keeps the blood sugar spike lower by nearly half, 43%. Why is that important for a type 1 diabetic or a type 2 or anybody? The lower you keep blood sugar, the lower that you keep insulin. So this right here feeds Gizmo. And when you feed Gizmo and the junction gets tighter because he starts beating the bad guys, now you stop getting leaky gut and autoimmune. Your joints start to feel better. Your mental clarity comes back. Your ITIS clears up. Your autoimmune clears up. I'm going to show you some proof right now of a type 1 diabetic. It's a cousin of mine. And this was only a week on the protocol, if memory serves. She's now down 79% in her insulin usage as a type 1 diabetic. But this is my cousin right here, who told me I was full of poo, actually.
As a type 1 diabetic?
My results have been crazy incredible over the last 3.5 weeks. Cousin Lana, who is Dr. Kenny's mom, said, you gotta talk to Kenny about this. I was very, very skeptical. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I'm 60, but I've been on the program for 3.5 weeks. I've reduced my insulin from 58 units or more a day down to 22. I no longer have to take insulin before I eat. Currently 3 hours and 5 minutes away from ending a 36-hour fast. Never in a million years that I would be able to do as a diabetic.
Now, this
I want
is
to show you a video testimony.
This is my friend, Dr. Abby, guys. My friend, this breaks my heart, and I'm so grateful. She has struggled with this since she was 19. I think Abby's 9. I'm 48. And this beautiful woman was told she had a brain tumor at one point, 2 young kids. She had then told she had MS, now Lyme. Anybody familiar with Lyme disease? Put Lyme in the chat. She wrote goodbye letters to her kids.
All that I'm using when fasting, fiber, and chlorogenic tea.
I had Lyme since the age of 19. I just got diagnosed 6 years ago. Exhausted all the time, but brain fog crept in. My heart palpitations were bad. My blurry vision would be so bad that I couldn't even drive. Sometimes I'd have to pull over and just close my eyes. Absolutely zero energy. Days I would take 8 Advil a day just because you're just so desperate to get out of pain. In between patients, I would run in. If a fly would land on this side of my head, my head would just slide off. Headache is horrible. I pretty much had given up hope. I've written goodbye letters to my kids. Because I just know you can't live that long, living that way. But thank God for Dr. Kenny. And I love being a chiropractor. I love helping people. Thanks to this Feel Great system. I can sleep from 10 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning. I don't even get up to go to the bathroom. I'm so thankful for this. I feel great. This morning, I've done 5 loads of laundry. I shoveled 7 inches of snow out of my 4-car driveway. 5 kids breakfast this morning. Sounds like normal day stuff, like a normal human being. Now I can do that. I'm a normal human being.
I want to show you.
Guys, if you guys want this protocol, someone's asking, you push the picture of my face in the top left corner of the live. I got 10, maybe 15, I got to go, minutes. When you get here, it says, I build leaders. And right here is this is the wholesale button if you want it. You choose your flavors. Super duper simple. I like the lemon chlorogenic acid tea. I like the pomegranate. The pomegranate, this one is my favorite. It's awesome. And then I like the mixed berry fiber. You'll get it in 3 to 5 days. I send you a couple videos. It's honest to God, super simple. If you're consistent, you use this properly, it will not let you down. Now, I'm going to show you some more photos before and afters. This is a type 2 diabetic for 23 years, 73 years age. Look how much younger she looks. Totally reversed, guys, all through a doctor. My friend, Dr. Arlie, she's not a doctor, excuse me, Arlie is in Vancouver. This is 90 days, completely reversed her type 2. And this beautiful woman, 15 years later, fit back in her original wedding dress. Wow. Hashimoto's gone. This is my friend Andrea was just talking about this. Look at this, 34 pounds. And her husband's triglycerides dropped 49 points, I believe, in less than 2.5 weeks. Bessie went from this to this, down 38 pounds, and her depression's gone. My friend Sue went from this to this in 3 months. That's the same grandbaby. Sue, do you maybe have a loved one that you're concerned about that's aging? Sue was this one. She said that she actually did, she took all the grandbabies to the Great Wolf Lodge, hoping that would be her last hoorah. She had chronic inflammation throughout her body. She could barely stand and walk. She couldn't do steps. She said the inflammation, when you're getting it like that, once it crosses into the brain, there's no pain receptors. So you don't feel pain inside the brain, but you start to forget things. It erodes the hippocampal areas of the memory centers in your brain. And this is what happens. And they know now that the greatest indicator of this is when the bigger your waistline gets, the smaller your hippocampus is because of inflammation throughout your body. This is 3 months apart. My friend Sue went from being possibly going to the nursing home to no longer on the nursing home. That was 30 pounds, but Sue's now down 45 pounds and completely got her life back. This is my friend Michael. Michael right here, look at this guy. This handsome dude, you can't see his picture, but this was his bank statement before he started the protocol. And this handsome dude right here, I love Michael, he's so funny. This guy went from this to this in his bank statement. Now, how could his bank statement go up like that? He was on fixed disability, same amount of money every month. He said, Doc, I was a type 2 diabetic. I was on 25 medications a day. And he said also, he was almost 500 pounds. The doctor he was seeing gave him 2 to 3 years to live. And in a matter of starting this protocol, his income went up. Now, that probably looks a little interesting, I would imagine, right? I mean, it did to me too. I said, well, Mike, how did you do that? He said, Doc, he goes, I wasn't eating breakfast. He goes, I'm not hungry. He goes, that was $8 a day. He goes, I'm not even including snacks and drinks. And he goes, man, his income went up. Now, he took that money, $70 to the good, even paying for the protocol, right? And his income went up. He's now, I forget how many months on, he's down 134 pounds off 24 of the 25 medications he was on every day. He took the copay money and bought a brand new truck with it. Crazy, right? Now, this is Vicky. I've got to update the picture because she's even better now. She's down 45 pounds. Type 1 diabetic using 79% less insulin. George, the maple syrup dealer, this man, in this photo, his blood glucose fasted was 834 at 2 p.m. He goes, I knew it was going to be high, but I knew that if I fasted longer, it'd be better. The hospital called him thinking he was going to stroke out. This dude right here, his A1C was 18.2, and in 107 days, it dropped to 90 on his blood sugar and 7.2 on his A1C. Now, that's still diabetic, but God have mercy, right? And his waistline shrank 14 inches, but he added 9 pounds on the scale. If you're adding muscle on this protocol, would you just say that in the chat? How? Guys, they've got you focused on weight. Stop looking at the scale. If I take off my shirt and I look like Brad Pitt at 225 pounds or 185 pounds, do you think it matters? It's about metabolic flexibility. When you're losing weight doing shots, okay, I'm not against anything, but you need to understand. The research shows that 70% of those people are off those within 2 years. 66% of the weight you gain back when you're off them is fat. Nearly half of the weight you lose is fat. It's muscle. So when you lose muscle, you gain it all back as fat. His weight went up 9 pounds, but he lost 14 inches. We have a farmer that lost 12 inches and gained 2 pounds. She didn't lose any weight, but look at the difference. This lady's PCOS is gone after 20 years. She's down 50 pounds. Look at this. Your body synthesizes your own collagen, princess. So when you fit, estrogen controls that. Insulin controls estrogen. Look at this. Look at that. Skin. Your skin is always showing you, whether it's adult acne, rosacea, whether it's whatever, psoriasis. Look at the 16-year-old. Look at that right there. No loose hanging skin. Anybody on here notice that your skin tags are falling off or shrinking up? Put that in the chat. Skin tags are caused by insulin resistance, 482 to 100. It's Kenny Harless. This lady right here over on the book. This is Whitney. That's Whitney today. I wonder if she feels more confident. My friend Aaron went from dad bod to Jason Statham, reversed his fatty liver. My friend Michael left being an EMT. He said his now passion is to keep people off the truck. He dropped 85 pounds. I got to update this, but he cut his visceral fat in half. His triglycerides are down 49 points, and he's up 6 points as ACL. Dr. Brown is an endocrinologist, a doctor of hormones, a diabetic doctor. In med school, her dad developed type 2 diabetes. She gave up her dream of being a pediatrician to do this, to help her dad. Her dad ends up later on becoming, ladies and gentlemen, became demented. He just recently passed away. She's watching my buddy do this talk, and she goes, God, this makes so much sense. She goes, I became pre-diabetic and insulin resistant. That's like a dermatologist having bad skin. She goes, this is tea and fiber. It's listed in the same book that I recommend drugs from. There's a 90-day money back guarantee. I mean, circle day 88, right? Be consistent, go prove me wrong. You won't. But she did it. And she, in a few months, was able to reverse her her prediabetes and insulin resistance in menopause and put her dad just on the products, didn't even have him fasting. And in 6 months, her dad reversed his type 2, and he recently died from dementia. She left medicine to do this full time, said she's never helped more people than she has now. I can say the same. Let me ask you a question. Look at this husband and wife here. How do you think they were going to end their lives together? I mean, wouldn't you want to do your life together with the person you love the most? Do you think if somebody saw these two looking like that, they might ask them what they're doing? And if they saw you carrying around this bottle, our company, what they do is they give you a bottle for free, but they also give you a discount code to share with your spouse, your family, your friends, people that ask. And it's really simple. It's just a simple, casual conversation because they see how much change there is. And well, in doing this, you give them your discount code and they get the same discount wholesale price you get, but you get a $10 coupon each time that they order, every time that they order. That's what we're doing around the world. Look at my friend Lori, who was in menopause. I think she was 40 or 45 pounds heavier here. Her menopause was so bad, it was waking her up at night with hot flashes. She would take 2 to 3 showers, cold showers at night with a shower cap on, so she didn't have to redo her hair every day. She said it was crazy. But her husband, Craig, he's 60, 61, 62. I forget his name. He went from that to that. This lady dropped 70 pounds. What was I going to tell you? Her husband's Crohn's is gone. Dr. Natasha, I love this woman. You want to follow her, Natasha Pierre. She's a pediatrician. She just got back something from one of her customers that's using this, and his diabetes is completely gone. His blood pressure is completely normalized. Everything is completely normalized, including his weight. It's gone. And she goes, I was never able to do something like that with what I was doing before. Her friend Angelita is a nurse practitioner. Look at this lady. That is, she was on 6 medications a day for 10 years. 5 of those were for GERD and IBS, and 1 was for antidepressant. In 2 weeks, she was able to get off those. My friend Jonathan Scott played in the NFL for 10 years. He said, this is dumb easy. He went from this to this in a matter of 5 weeks. He's 6'8", by the way, 57 pounds gone, psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis gone. My friend Kim went from, here to here. That's 60 days. That's the same human being. Look at the inflammation reduction. That's Colleen. She was diabetic here on 5 or 6 medications a day. She's on a quarter of medication right now for thyroid. She's no longer on metformin or statins. Her doctor took them off all. This guy's in his 70s. I mean, how do I have all these photos? Different ages, colors, backgrounds, ethnicities. It doesn't matter. But isn't that interesting? Don't you find it? I mean, you've never heard of something like this, that we have to come on a channel that still restricts you for what? What did I do today? Weird. Don't you find? So I've got just a couple minutes and I have to go. So if you have any questions, shoot them in the chat real quick. I'll do my best to answer them. If I don't get to them, just private message me and I'll get back to you. Oh, and one last time, if you guys want to order, here's where you find it. If you want information on Dr. Dieter doing a science call tomorrow night, make sure you reach out to him. I'll show you in a second. Push the picture of my face during the live. Top left corner of the live, you'll see a picture of my face. It acts like a button. Push that once to twice, and then it'll bring you to the profile. Right here where it says I build leaders, right below that's the whole cell. You just push it, it's like a button. And it'll walk you step by step what to do. Now, this is where you can find me over there. We're in Mexico, G-Vibes. And by the way, I'm looking to partner. It's a wide open place down there, brother. So if you're interested remotely, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'm looking to partner with people all around the world, guys. This thing works like nothing I have ever seen in my life. I've never had so much fun. I've never touched and changed so many lives. And there is something so spiritual when you change a human being's life by something you share with them. Let me show you. This guy, I just got this the other day. I'm down 45 pounds. I checked my glucose. It's 103. Best spin of years. This lady found me on here back in November. In 7 months, fatty liver was gone. 10 months in, down 82 pounds. Blood pressure back to normal. LDL. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this stuff. And she says, thank you for all the information you give us every day. I'm so thankful that I found you in November of 2024. I'm a totally different woman. When the journey gets tough, don't stop. Please continue to teach all you know about insulin resistance. You've changed my life. Makes me cry every time. God. All right, guys, I got to run. God bless you. I'll be back here tomorrow. If you have anything I didn't answer, reach out to me. If you want information on Dr. Dieter's call tomorrow night, just private message me science. I'll get it to you. If you want to learn and see if what I'm doing is for you, just private message me opportunity. I'll get you a link to that too. So God bless you and thank you.